Okay, we are done with white rares and mythics. And if you don't have anything else to add, I'm just gonna start with blue commons. All right. By the way, just before I start with blue commons, okay, we talked a little bit behind the scenes, and NC and I kind of agreed that some of the blue commons look really good. Like blue it tends to be a color that doesn't get enough love sometimes, just because the early game is pretty bad, and even if you have good late game, you can't play it. But blue seems really nice here, and we're gonna get to why.
A slight spoiler alert, I do think we're gonna get the two best colors first, but we'll see how it ends up.
Okay.
Oh, can
Like
I,
white and blue.
What do you say,
sorry,
Scotty?
may I add one note?
Of course.
Okay, our lowest grade. Oh, never mind. There was one. The Invasion of Theros is a whiff. But besides that, our lowest grade for all the white rares was a B minus, which I've never seen that density of high grades for
Yeah.
rare grades before.
I mean, I don't mind because I think this set overall, like the rares are very good, sure, but I also think like everything in this set is very good, kinda.
Yeah, this set
Like,
is very high power.
Yeah. So I don't personally mind at all. I liked WoW, and I like if WoW had better uncommons and commons, it had good ones, but if it had better uncommons and commons, I think it would have been the best set in the last 2 years. And
Which
so
set?
I at least like if there's like a bunch of good res and a bunch of good commons and uncommons. Like you don't feel bad if you don't get res.
Still, like, every white rare is amazing. There's a lot of white, not mythics, but rares that are bombs in our opinion. Like, a lot. And more than multicolored, by the way. And then mythics also have incredibly high grades in white. But yeah, it's just white commons and uncommons look really good. And that's usually rares and mythics don't really matter. But they really do get supported a lot. And I agree with NCA. I don't think that it's going to be a huge problem, right? If you have a high density of very powerful commons and uncommons, the format gets less and less princey. And yeah, Crimson WoW had very weak commons, so that was a bit of a problem.
Yeah, but even in Crimson WoW, like I think this set's commons and uncommons I haven't looked at that closely, but commons at least are way better than Crimson WoWs. And even in Crimson WoW, like I was the happiest being in like blue red or blue white without rares and just having a good deck because I felt like I could beat all the decks that they were planning to cast there of Breakfast Demons or something.
True, but I think Crimson WoW, like when we just look at white, I don't think every color is gonna be the same, but I kind of forgot how powerful all the mythics and the rares are. But Crimson WoW didn't have these many bombs.
yeah, I agree.
Not even close. But still, we're gonna see. I think it's gonna be completely fine. That's what it feels like to me. Like
I think Crimson WoW's problem wasn't even the amount of rares. I think it was the fact that the commons weren't that good.
Yeah, like most of the rares in Crimson WoW were in a B range, but those B range rares were so much more powerful than commons and uncommons, and then it felt like, oh my god, opponent played this rare. And
uncommons were, I think, still like there was an A level uncommon and there was like some B plus uncommons. I don't think uncommons went that like out of the ordinary, but commons.
Uncommons were fine. But yeah, every rare, like a B grade rare, felt like a bomb compared to the commons. So I think still, even though we have okay, this board wipe is kind of fucked up. But like really good creatures and so on, I think it's gonna be okay. Anyways, to start with blue, you have anything else to add, by the way, guys?
No.
All right. Assimilate Essence, the first blue card, which costs 1 and a blue, and it's an instant counter spell that says counter target creature or battle spell, unless its controller pays 4. If they do, you incubate 2. So I love this counter spell.
By the way, before we get to blue, I wanted to ask something. Where did the chat like voting thing go from last time?
There was no chat voting thing last time.
No, there was like everyone voted like just like voted their grade or like wrote their grade in chat and then it showed on screen.
From 2 times ago, you mean? You mean from 2 times ago?
No, last time around.
No, last time I set up the chat voting thing, and then they could just type it in chat.
Oh yeah, there was a chat voting thing last time. I completely forgot about that. That was not.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. And that one was not like we had this exactly the same composition of on the screen, right?
Yeah, and then you just put it in the corner.
And it was in the corner. Okay.
Yeah, we were just in the corner, or we were on the middle. I don't remember anyway.
Oh, we had this exact composition. Like your webcams were exactly here.
Okay.
You sure it was the last time or 2 times ago? I know we changed it from
the
like.
last time.
It was the last time. Yeah.
Okay, and yeah, I completely forgot about it because I was used to Slido, and I was like, oh, we're not doing Slido anymore, right? And then that's it. Did you remember that yesterday, Scotty?
Yeah, I noticed it. I just didn't say anything. Probably should have said something.
Why didn't you say it?
Yeah, I realized
because it was like 5 a.m. and I was gonna go to bed.
I realized it yesterday as well, but I just was like, we are already doing this, and then I forgot to say anything about it.
We can edit tomorrow. Well, no problem. We edit tomorrow. Just remind me. And
yeah, it's very easy. You already have it on your whatever set up on your computer anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, I like this counter spell a lot. So creature plus battle, right? Creature is something you counter most of the time. 2 mana essence scatter, I have liked it in most sets. This one also counters battles. If you want to counter that, why not? So it's extra things you can counter. I don't think decks are gonna have like a ton of battles. At least most of them. That's what it feels like. Like first of all, like you open 3 battles per player, but at first everybody's gonna fight for battles because they're new card type, so you're gonna have basically none. I think maybe after a few weeks, you're gonna have 3 if you first pick it. I think everybody's gonna be picking them, but after a week or something. Still, this targets so many things, and it has a great fail case. The fail case is, well, you pay 2+2 to get a 2-drop, and an opponent has to pay 4 for something, so, 4 extra for something. So it's not the end of the world. You get the 2-drop. I'm very happy with this counter spell. I'm gonna put it as a C, and oh, maybe even higher. Like there are convoke, instant speed, blue spells that you really like casting on the opponent's turn, and it feels so easy to keep this. No, I'm gonna start as a C, but I usually give counter spells like a D plus, something like that. But because in this set, I think it's gonna be very, very simple in blue decks to keep up that 2 mana on the opponent's turn. One great thing about this like whole set, a lot of things are instant. They just gave a lot of sorceries instant speed, and I fucking love that. It just gives you more interaction. There's gonna be a lot of times I think we're gonna say, oh, this is finally an instant, and great, that's what we've been hoping for. We're gonna get to those cards anyway. Sorry, I've been ranting for so long. Scotty, please.
I'm big fan. I think I'm a big fan of this card. I think it's better than Essence Scatter is going to be in his previous sets. Interesting. I'm trying to think about the scenarios in terms of board development. It gets a little awkward because usually when you have Essence Scatter, right, you're thinking, okay, well, at least this turn, I'm not going to develop my board, but my opponent also won't develop their board with any meaningful attackers or blockers. It gets a little awkward if your opponent is incubating something with something that's a non-creature spell, because then they can actually develop their board without actually, you know. It's actually also really awkward if they have an incubate token.
You do see it coming at least.
You do at least. Well, I mean, like, well, let's say, for example, I'm just looking at this sheet, like, if you hold up Assimilate Essence and your opponent drops a 3rd land and plays Eyes of Gitaxias, that's like a little awkward for you. But it's not like I don't think that moves the needle too much for me. I don't know. I like 2 mana counterspell. I'm a big fan. I think this is a C+ for me.
And you can keep 2. Urza said you can keep 2 to flip an incubator token as well.
That's true. Yeah, actually.
Yeah. This is really nice with incubate tokens like itself. It's what I wanted to say as well. Yeah. Because then you do have, like, if your opponent does play the Eyes of Gitaxias or something similar, you can just flip the incubate token. Yeah, so we had Scatter Ray in Brawl, which, in my opinion, it was actually a solid card. It just that blue sucked in the set. But it had a little bit above average win rate in blue decks. On average, if I remember correctly. Something like that. It was fine. It wasn't anything special.
I didn't like it.
But you had Unearthed and stuff. It was kind of awkward, but it was an okay card still. And that's like the best 2-mana counter I want to say we've had recently. The better comparison is, I think, Essence Scatter, which has been good every time we have seen it. Was really good in DMU, and in Among Get Remastered, it was also really, really good. In Ikoria, it was good, but not as good. But the Bull also sucked in Ikoria. So I agree with Lolan or Scotty, who have said that I think this is better than Essence Scatter. The fact is that the thing is that the 4 mana doesn't really matter that much on this card. Generally, the 4 mana isn't that big of a deal, but it still matters because they play the 2-drop and later on when they top deck it and you can't counter it. But if they play the 5-drop, you can always counter it basically. But if they play the 2-drop or 3-drop, they have to pay 6-7 mana for it, and you still get the incubator token. So like that's kind of still good for you, but your opponent still wants to pay the 4. I guess they can just choose not to, but it's like still good. Even later on, like when your opponent top decks a 2-drop or something, it's not like it's dead late. Like they play a 2-drop and then you can't actually even counter anything.
You can counter battles flipping.
Yes, but that's then they can probably pay for.
I don't know. They might need to remove things, use tricks and so on.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, it will come up for sure. Yeah. But yeah, hitting battles, hitting creatures is nice. I do think this is better than Essence Scatter would be in this set. And there is a decent amount of instants in this set. I don't think this in DMU Essence Scatter was really good. I have a hard time imagining a counterspell being that good again, but I don't think this far off. I'll give this a B-.
You can counter your own spells and have an 8 mana 2-drop.
Yeah, that's yeah.
What do you give it?
B-.
Ooh-wee! Nice. Scott, you gave it what?
C+. You're the loser.
I'm the loser.
This one.
Okay, I'm always a loser in counter spells. I can see it being a C+, but I'm gonna start as a C. Disturbing Conversion. For 1 and a blue, we have Flash Enchant Creature Aura that says when it enters the battlefield, each player mills 2 cards. An enchanted creature gets -X -O, where X is the number of cards in its controller's graveyard. So, floor for this is 2 mana -2 -O for opponent's creature at instant speed. But it's almost always gonna be better than that, right? It's gonna be that for a 2-drop, so you basically do make it have 0 power. It's gonna be probably always more. It helps out the things that care about 8 cards in the graveyard. Everything combined, I don't like it. I don't like it costing 2 mana. I kinda think that these cards really deserve to be 1 mana. And because they always leave something on the board. Like you're paying a full 2 mana, and opponent still... Like, sure, you might block that creature and kill it, but opponent still has a creature with all abilities, all the text, all the toughness on the battlefield, and maybe even some power. But, yeah. So, I'm not a big fan. This is not the removal that I want. I don't even count it as removal. It might be fine in some matchups where you just need to survive and you maybe don't get enough 2-drops. I can see myself playing this. I mean, something happens in the draft and I have like 3 2-drops. That basically never happens, but let's say it happens, I don't know, I open a few bombs and I completely switch colors and never get 2-drops again. Alright, I can sub this, I can put this instead of those to survive that early game, to protect my battles. I think in Shadows of Innistrad, that was one of the best types of that card, while we had a flashback set where you had a lot of cards in graveyard, and you were very grindy, so you were fine paying 1 mana for this effect, and it was like -5 up to -10 most of the times, and it was 1 mana, huge difference, that's like 50% less mana. You can always sneak it in, and you just didn't care about what things are on the board, you just wanted to get to your late game. But I don't think that's how this set works, blue in this set works, so I think this is bad. I'm gonna start it as a D, maybe go up at a D+, but let's start it as a D. I can see it being a little bit better maybe.
Yeah, I'm a little bit higher on it. Still not in love with it. I don't really have anything unique to say. Sometimes if you just need to stop getting beaten down and you've drafted a extremely grindy defensive blue style deck, then this works out. Like traditionally, or not traditionally, but I guess historically, when these cards have been good and seen play, it's when the blue deck has like a really good, solid, common basis to have a lot of inevitability. I don't really see that in this set, but I don't know. If there's an archetype for it, there's an archetype for it, but I'm going to start it as a D+.
I'll go D-. I think this card is dog shit. I'm probably never gonna play this card.
Alright. Ephara's Dispersal for 2 and a blue. Instant speed. This spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets an attacking creature. Return target creature to its owner's hand, surveil 2. It's interesting. You are not really convoking. I kind of expected this card when I read everything. I was like, oh, convoke. Oh, no convoke. Wait, but there is something similar.
This card would be busted if it had convoke.
That would be pretty crazy. Yeah. wait, but we're gonna get to the other card that is similar, but I think way better soon. This is fine. I mean, but you're not drawing card. You're surveilling. Only 1 mana to target an attacking creature, so it does protect battles. I mean, the more 2-for-1s you have, the better this gets. I wanna like it a lot, but it is negative card advantage, and keeping up to 1 mana but opponent not attacking with a creature you wanna bounce is kinda weird. But then again, you can bounce incubate tokens and that kills them. So that's nice. I think blue has a way better common that does a similar thing but better. So I'm just gonna go on a C- for this one.
Ooh,
I know you're gonna be like a B-.
This is gonna be our biggest disagreement.
Yeah, I know you're gonna be on a B- or something higher. Scotty, what do you think?
What card do you think is better than this?
The convoke one that bounces into
Temporal
deck.
Cleansing, the sorcery?
That's a sorcery?
It's a sorcery.
That's a sorcery?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not instant card?
No.
Yeah, sorry to burst your bubble, buddy.
Oh, I thought that card was like the best blue common. Okay, so it's
I think this card is pivotal for any defensive blue deck.
Okay.
I think it's extremely important. I actually think like it even gets much better, like depending on how many like really high quality combat tricks your opponent has. But this is a B- for me.
Yeah, I think this card is excellent. Look, 3 mana bounce something, surveil 2 alone at instant speed is an okay card. It's like not like surveil 2. It's not draw card or anything, but it's still quite a decent amount of value you're adding into your bounce. This for 1 mana is such a huge tempo blow, and it's not like your opponents aren't attacking you. Even if you are a pretty aggressive deck, let's say blue white, you have some flyers. It's not like they're not gonna try to flip their battles or whatever. And if you are ahead by a decent bit, a 3 mana bounce is good in that spot. Like if you just want to get proactively damage in, it effectively performs as a removal spell that surveils too. But it's like in any board scenario where you are about even on board, or you're like they are trying to get in, whatever. 1 mana for this effect I think is pretty insane. I think this is the best common in the set. I'm gonna give this a B+.
That's never gonna be that. That's never gonna be that. It is better than what I thought it was. So the other card is 100% a sorcery. The Convoke, put it on the second from top.
It's second from the top, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sorcery. No fucking way this is ever gonna be a B+. And you're not gonna remove it because you don't update your grades. And then you're gonna be a laughing stock of a whole word. This is, Jesus Christ. Okay, guys, 1 mana bounce.
You're still, you're still on a C-, Lola?
No, I'm higher because that card that I thought would replace this doesn't actually exist. But tell me, 1 mana bounce, instant speed. How do you like that card? Just
CC plus. It depends from the set. It's like if there exists a tempo blue deck, I do like 1 mana bounce at instant speed. But if not, I don't.
And you don't means it's a C.
Yeah, something like a C.
Okay, Scotty?
Unsummon, for me most of the time, I guess would be like a C-.
Yeah, for me it would be like a D+, like easy. And sure, if
really depends on the set.
If there's like perfect prowess deck, sure, it's better.
Okay, let me put it this way. How good do you think Oath would be if it didn't scry at all?
Oath?
Like a D?
A 6 mana make 3 tutus?
No, opt.
Opt!
Oath,
Yeah,
Oath,
I
Oath,
heard
Oath,
Oath, Imperial Oath.
I did say Imperial Oath.
I opt if it didn't
Oh,
scry.
oath. Sorry, oath.
Yeah.
My bad.
I think opt is not good.
No, Imperial Oath.
No, that's my bad, Lola.
Okay,
sorry,
okay, so we're so we're talking about opt for 6 mana. Oh, sorry, oath for 6 mana, right?
Yeah, if it didn't have Scry, or it had like Scry 1, how good do you think it would be?
It's okay. It would be fine.
I think it would be like a D or a D+.
Yeah, that's fine for 6 drop, like the...
Yes, and but I'm just showing you how much Surveil 2 adds to a card, basically. It's became a B, basically.
Yeah, but this is not 1 mana bounce.
No, it's not, but it's not that far off.
That's the thing I'm saying, like...
Because if you are ahead, you're really happy having... Like, if you're ahead, I'm fine paying even up to like 4 mana bounce if I'm ahead on board. It's like, doesn't matter, because the cards in their hand don't matter if I'm actually ahead by a decent amount.
Which set had a card, 1 mana bounce, and if it was, what, 3 or less, you scry for 2? Which set had that? That was DMU? Fading Hope. Return target creature to its own hand. If its mana available is 3 or less, scry. Oh, it was only scry 1. Okay, it was only scry 1.
Okay. Also, like, so unsummon, right? Unsummon is an aggressive magic card, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right. That's something that you use to throw your opponent off balance a little bit, so you can squeeze in. You lose card advantage, so you can squeeze in enough damage to win the game before they can overwhelm you, right? With their just.
This is pretty bad. This is really bad as an offensive card.
Yeah, but this is a defensive card, right?
Yes, mainly a defensive card. More that I'm saying that it's like still good in offense, because then you're fine spending 3 mana to bounce something, because you don't really care about the card advantage they're getting.
The thing is, you also don't really... Like, if you keep 1 mana open, and they don't...
That's fine. I probably stop their attack by keeping 1 mana open.
It's really not fine in those early developing turns where you want to get that tempo.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna keep 1 mana open in my early developing turns.
Then when do you do it? When they don't care about the bounce, then I can just play it again?
No, they will always care. There is so much things to do with your mana in this format. I can't imagine this not being very good, because it's just such a huge tempo blow. And it's like, sure, if this didn't Surveil 2, yes, because it doesn't bring you like any card advantage at all. This is still card advantage, but Surveil 2 is something. Especially late game, when you're like planning to cast this, you have a couple of cards in hand. Also, blue has good card advantage. With this, like, goes way up with card advantage.
Yeah, blue has really good card advantage. I want to see for this one. You
Can
talk me a bit up.
I sell you, Lola? You have like your defensive 2-drop, and your opponent wants to push their 2-drop past their 2-drop, your 2-drop, so they back up onto their 2-drop, and then you just bounce it. Backup's like a whole archetype.
Yeah, that too. And incubator tokens are also a thing. But...
I mean, but good backup creatures that you're playing, you just put a counter on themselves and it's fine.
Yeah.
And again, like, when do you bounce it?
At some point, there's 1 mana when you're there attacking.
No, 1 mana conditional bounce.
Yes.
That still is negative card advantage for you in most scenarios.
Yes.
Like conditional, that's.
But the thing is, I don't think blue really cares that much about having the card. It really cares about getting ahead on tempo, or like getting ahead on board somehow, because it doesn't do that a good job at doing it otherwise.
Okay, I'm gonna start it as a C, and incubate could push it to a C plus, I think. The battles could push it to a B minus actually, but just, like, sometimes you have a telegraphed attack.
And then because this is way better than you think, they could also push it to a B plus. Yeah, exactly.
There's no, like, 0% chance that that's gonna be the case. Same for the last time. What did you give? I told you, I think it was the Scamp, the 1/1 that deals 1 damage. You had it as a B plus or something.
No, I had it like as a B minus. It wasn't that good, but yeah.
Yeah, but you had it as a B plus.
I have a question. What do you think the chances that you'll end up with a B on this on your tier list, Lola, by the end of the set?
B minus is a possibility.
No, B. What about B?
B 0. There's no way.
0?
0.
You should wager something.
Okay, what wager?
I mean, that's up to you. You are saying there is 0% chance, so you are not losing anything
But
by wagering.
wait, I'm wagering only. I'm wagering something.
Wager your pride.
Oh, that's
You said that there is 0% chance that this said
everything is
you're
gonna recorded. That's on the line, and my pride is on the line already.
Okay, I'll make a contract, and then you have to sign it, and then we're gonna post it on your Twitter. Okay? If you feel like by the end of the set this has to be a B.
Okay, what I do? I lose pride.
No, I'll make some whatever certificate or contract or something, and then we'll publish it for your public shame.
Yes. Okay. Sounds perfect.
Okay, there we go.
But what about? Okay, you're kind of on C plus, right, Scotty?
No, I'm gonna B minus.
You're on a B minus.
Closer to B than a C plus.
NCA is in his if this card in the end, not on the tier list, but because you don't you don't care, you don't change your grades.
I'll try. Okay,
You try every time. You also try to put in the Shadows over Innistrad grades, and in the end, I just deleted the ones that you put in.
Yes, that's a good point.
You say you're gonna try every time. Let me see Let me see the scamp. What grade is it right now? By the way, so there's gotta be a certificate there. That do you think there's any chance this card is gonna go down from a B plus?
Yes.
Yes.
I do think that, like, I don't think this is gonna be under a B minus, but I think it can range from B minus to A minus.
Oh, okay. So we are both kind of feel like it could go down or up on a B minus. That's cool. But okay, it's like the battles and the incubate tokens. If you're removing incubate token that's flipped, that's pretty good. I mean, that's really good. If opponent is telegraphing, like I'm gonna be attacking this battle next turn, I'm gonna be using a trick to get through or something, that's also really nice. But still, it's like you gotta use it defensively most of the time, so I'm not a big fan. C. We go to the next card, guys, or?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. It's tied for our most controversial. So.
Okay. Expedition Lookout. For 1 and a blue, it's a 2/3 defender that says, as long as opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, this guy gets not stats, but it can attack as though he didn't have defender, and it can't be blocked. So 2/3 defender, when opponent has 8 cards, it's 2/3 unblockable. I'm not a big fan. It's okay blocker, I guess. I think it takes way too long to, like, nobody's self-milling themselves. Like, if you're gonna, some cards help you get things in the opponent's graveyard, but 8 is a lot. You have that Dimir card that puts 4 cards in the opponent's graveyard, and that one is pretty good.
I don't remember. I think this card is dog shit.
Yeah, I don't think it's very good. I'm gonna start as a D plus. Like maybe in some decks it's gonna go to a C range.
Let me take a quick skim. D. D for me.
Yeah, the problem is that even, like, first of all, the cards that mill you generally aren't even good. I don't think the archetype really exists. Like, I know you can play blue-black probably, but I don't think it necessarily has to mill you. The second thing is, even if you are milling, why would you play this over on something else? It's a 2/3, so it's like slightly overstated. Slightly. Very slightly. Overstated for 2 mana. But you can't attack with it until at some point. I don't get why I would play this over a random 2-drop. Basically ever. If you really don't care about attacking, I don't know what deck that is. Maybe. That said, I'll give this a D-.
Yeah, there's like, again, same problem like with the 0/5 flyer. It's like, if you get an opportunity to attack, well, you don't, because you have this. And then, if you have some battle that you want to clear, well, you don't, because you get this, so... Eyes of Gitaxias. For 2 and a blue, it's a sorcery that incubates 3 and draws you a card. Alright, this one is interesting, and this one is gonna be very different. Scott is gonna give it like super low grade, I'm gonna give it kind of high grade. So we gotta see. I don't know about NCA. So 3 mana cycle, but on the next turns you can pay 2 to get a 3/3. It's not really a 5 mana draw a card. 5 mana 3 draw card, because you can play this on 3 and then on turn 4 you can have this 3 drop, you can pay 2 mana and have a 2 mana up for a 2 drop or a trick or something. This doesn't work very well with battles, but I think blue is not really crazy about clearing battles and maybe not that good at it with some of the cards. I do like this card quite a lot. I'm gonna give it a C+. Spreading it over 2 turns is really nice. It's a little bit unfortunate. Like, this thing also has flash, the 3/3. But it is a little bit unfortunate that it like doesn't block early, and that if you could have a 3/3 that investigates, that would be like so much better, because you really want to impact the board, you don't want to draw the card first. But I think it's still pretty good. Yeah, the wolf is broken, but I think this card is not like... I think it can be compared to a wolf, but the wolf is like maybe the best green common. Foretell for 2 and then get a 3/3 and draw a card. That's like 4 mana in total, which is a huge difference. And 2 is much easier to sneak in first. You kinda... This first part you would like to sneak in. The 3/3 you don't care about sneaking in because you want it. The first part where you don't get card anything, you would like to sneak in. But then you do draw a card and then later you make a 3/3, so that's like an advantage. When you foretell, you don't draw anything.
I like how you got baited by chat by to compare this to Sorof's Packmate for like 30 seconds.
But it is a good comparison.
I mean, yeah, I think you could. I think it's an okay comparison, but I think there are a lot of okay comparisons for this. It's the divination that draws a 2 mana 3/3. It's an owlbear. It's a Packmate. But like, there are a lot of okay comparisons, but nothing that like quite fits this card.
Yeah, it's also like Lightning Bolt, except it's blue and it doesn't deal damage. It draws cards.
Oh
instead.
my god! But what the fuck? Like, it's the how is it not comparable to? It's like foretell for 3 instead of 2, but you also have instant speed 3/3, and you draw a card before you actually cast the full card. I mean, how is it not comparable?
No, it's fine. I'm just giving you a hard time.
It's like same card but weaker.
I do like the comparison to Divination more though, to be honest. But the thing I like about Divination is the fact that it really helps you hit your 4th land drop if you want to play it on developing on 3, right? Like, not developing on 3 is bad in limited, but it actually makes up for it for the fact that it really does help you hit your 4th land drop, and hopefully your 4th drop is good enough to stabilize. This, I mean, if you stumble, I guess you can incubate for 3, and that's like okay, but I'm still not particularly hot on this. I'm gonna C-.
What did Lola give this?
C+.
C+.
Oh yeah, I'm with Lola on this. I like this card. I don't think it's insane by any means. I'm either on a C or a C+, but I do like 3 mana. I think it's fine to play on 3. It's like kind of a 5 mana 3/3 draw card, but it's 3+2. Best curve is probably something like 3 drop. Or this on 3, 2 drop, 2 drop, or 2 drop plus incubate. It also plays very well with counterspell, with some other, with Dispersal, for example, with Meeting of Minds. There's like a bunch of things that I think play decently well with this in blue. I'm gonna C+ for this as well.
I like it more than Divination because you know one part that you're getting. Like, you always know that you are gonna get a 2 mana 3/3 that you can so you can develop a board a bit.
2 mana or the 3/3 is pretty relevant even to the late game, so it's a reasonable take. Because it's not like, you know, it's not like you're drawing 1/2 that's irrelevant on turn like 7 or 6 or whatever. And 3/3 is relevant pretty much all game.
I think Incubate is gonna be that bounce clears it, but I think Incubate is like gives you some synergy with something. It's more that than it hurts you because opponent can do something to the token. I think Incubate is like a nice thing to Phyrexian token is nice to have as a 3/3 as well.
I think you're more right than I am. I'll go up to a C.
Okay. Furtive Analyst. What is furtive?
Furtive means that you're a little bit reclusive, like you shy away from large crowds and stuff.
Okay, reclusive. Furtive Analyst. First time I hear the word. For 2 and a blue, it's a 1/4 vigilance that says for 2 and a tap, draw a card and discard a card. Okay, 3 mana 1/4 blocks things. Vigilance, I mean, it can. I mean, it can attack, and I don't know. This is not gonna do much attacking on its own, right? You can, I guess, put equipment on it that gives it vigilance.
And 1/4 has vigilance. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
let's
I
go.
don't know. This vigilance is a little bit weird here. 2 mana loot is fine. It's not that bad, but I cannot see any of my decks wanting a lot of these. So I'm just gonna go on a D+. I think it's serviceable. Backup counters can go on this, yeah, but then it's got a 2/5. Yeah, I'm on D+. Looting is not nothing. It's I really like looting, but the carrier of looting here is very suboptimal, I think, for a 3-drop. Could go down to a D easily.
Yeah, D+ feels pretty nice. This feels like a pretty begrudgingly playable 23rd card in my draft that went medium well. D for me.
I think this might be one of the best commons in this set. I have no idea what this card is doing in this set. It's a 3-mana 1/4, which is really bad, and I extremely rarely would have want to pay 2 mana to loot. It's like an expensive loot ability, and it's a 1/4 for 3. I don't know why I would ever put this card in my deck. I'm giving it an F.
Oh, come on, it's not unplayable.
I think it's unplayable. I would rather play a land over this.
I'm gonna go down to a D, but it's not unplayable.
I don't think I will ever put this card into my deck, and that's an F for me. If I will never play this card in the format, and I think I never will.
Then you gotta give an F to the Simic 0/5 flyer.
I think that's better than this.
Okay.
That card blocks flyers. Come on.
Okay.
This card doesn't even block.
I'm okay with a D on this one as well, with Scotty. Hollow Charge Skaab. For 4 and a blue, it's a 4/4 zombie, whatever. When this guy enters the battlefield, each player mills 2 cards. It's funny how it's always each player, so if opponent is playing the deck that cares about you having cards in the graveyard, well, you're gonna get cards in the graveyard with all of these mill cards. Then you may put an instant sorcery or battle card from your graveyard on the top of your library. And it seems like it helps you with those cards that care about mill, but I don't think those cards are good. So it's helping me with cards that I really don't want to play in my deck. It's a 4/4, that's very small. But I mean, it does put instant sorcery or battle that I want from on the top still, which is kind of okay.
It's like Curator, but it has worse stats.
Which Curator?
The one from the last set, the 3/4.
Meldweb Curator.
The 4 mana 3/4, yeah. It does mill, so you can get something. I really don't like this card. I'm gonna give it a D.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. Like, I'm a little more okay with 5 drops as long as they can like trade off with something, and like at least this will trade off with something typically. I know we always say like, oh, 4/4 for 5 mana, 4/5 for 5 mana is garbage, but I don't know. Whenever I played them, they trade off. I'm like, all right, you know, did a thing. So I'm like reasonably happy about that. Or they needed like a combat trick to push their 3-drop past my 5-drop. But it's pretty bad. D+.
Yeah, I'm on D as well. I do think this is playable, unlike the last card. I mean, even Melbourne Curator, it wasn't that bad. It did like you could put it into your deck, trade with something, and
I think this is really bad.
like, but I think Melbourne Curator was a D. I think this is a D as well. Like I don't know. You can play this if you have some. I guess if you just really want value, like this isn't good value, but if you really want value, I guess I don't know. It's probably gonna go down, but I'll give it a D.
And I mean, the blue was really bad in the last set, right? Compared to...
Yeah, but like Curator, I think was fine in blue. It was just like...
Okay, we got to the good stuff. Meeting of Minds. For 3 and a blue, instant convoke, draw 2 cards. Hell yeah. This is miles ahead of Divination, I think. They have listened. Like, instant speed card is what I really like. Because you can pair it with some other things. I mean, this has Convoke, that's huge. I really like instant speed on these sorceries. Removal, some removal, I find like just give it a sorcery so you can use tricks a little bit better and stuff. But like these card or spells are so much more interesting to play when they are instant speed. You can just choose not to do it. Convoke is huge, right? Like this is gonna be in white when you have white is just so good with Convoke. Like when you have vigilance creatures and you're attacking and also casting this, you can also just cast this even if those creatures get blocked and pay like 1 or 0. This is gonna be 1 or 0 a lot of times, right? You don't. Let's compare it a little bit to divination. Like, when do you want to play divination? Late game, when you don't have much else to do with your turn. You play it in the early turns, like maybe you don't have a 3-drop, maybe you don't have anything to do on 4 or 5, then you play it, of course. But this one is, yeah, the divination is nothing compared to this. This is huge. I think it's no problem to like maybe trade a little bit less and just have this as a 1-mana a lot of times. I'm gonna be at least. I'm gonna be for this. I think this card is crazy powerful.
Yeah, nothing much more to add. I think this is extremely important. And I think this will also be a centerpiece of any sort of defensive blue deck. I think I'm on a B-.
Or offensive blue deck. But you don't even have to keep up. You can keep up blockers and have this card. That's amazing.
Yeah, but that's like why the defensive thing.
Because, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have that much to add. This works really nice with Vigilance. Really nice with slower blue strats. I think blue is kind of the weird, but I would like to. It's like on the slower end of things, but it's still like a mid-range. Like I think it wants to play a tempo-ish oriented game. But you have like really nice card advantage with this and stuff. I agree. I think this will be a centerpiece in any blue deck probably. I just love this card. I think this card is amazing. I'll give it a B as well.
But this is worse for you than the bounce.
Yes.
Okay.
I think I would also want my first bounce above my first Meeting of Minds.
Yeah, I think the bounce is more important than this.
I think it's harder to replace.
Yes, I think this is also great if you're aggressive blue deck. I think this is great because like not all of your creatures can always attack, and I think this is great in any deck. You don't need to be defensive. Like, you really don't need to.
Yeah, I'm not. I could go to B- as well, but let's stick at B, I guess.
And aggressive decks also get out there on the board faster, so you can look for your tricks or whatever you need to win.
I just don't think with the like combination of blue commons we have that like blue decks are gonna be that aggressive. I don't think they're necessarily gonna be that slow either. Like I think it's gonna be very mid-rangey, but they have like really good value.
Yeah. Moment of Truth. For 1 and a blue, it's instant speed. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 1 of those cards into your hand, 1 into your graveyard, and 1 on the bottom of your library. Impulse, this is not. 1 into your graveyard, I don't see like why I care about that. I don't think I care about it. I don't think
it's basically anticipated. It's like, I guess the graveyard is upside, but it's basically anticipated. Yeah.
I mean, fine, 23rd card. I'm on a D. I see nothing good in this.
D.
I'm a little bit higher on this, just because I think this plays very well with like a lot of blue things. It plays well with Incubate as well. Plays well with Counterspell, plays well with Draw Spell. I still would prefer not to run this, but I also I think I'm totally fine running a copy of this or something. I'm in a D+.
Okay. Negate. 1 and a blue, counter target non-creature spell. Well, there are battles. F. Still F.
F.
Poing. Oculus Whelp. For 3 and a blue, you get a 3/2 flyer, and as long as you control a transformed permanent, this guy has, when he dies, you draw a card. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be super hard to have transformed permanent. I don't think you're gonna have it like very fast on the early turns. 3/2 flyer is like normal, and I don't know. It needs to die, so you need to trade it. I mean, it has flying for clearing battles. But then again, like every flyer is a worse blocker when opponent is clearing battles. So it's always a double-edged sword. I'm on a D+. I don't think that when you cast this on curve, it basically never draws a card, and I think nowadays we are long past vanilla 3/2 flyers being good just because they fly.
The death trigger, you know that, right?
4-mana 3/3 flyers aren't good. How would 4-mana 3/2 flyers be good?
I said 3/2.
Yeah.
What do you say, Scotty?
Even 3/3s aren't good. I like that.
So what do you say, Scotty?
I was saying, it's a death trigger, right?
Yeah, that's huge. Like, yeah, that's
Okay, you were saying if you play it on turn 4, you're not going to draw, but you don't have to trade off of it. Until
yeah, but you're not gonna have an option of drawing on turn 4. It's gonna be vanilla 3/2. Like,
Yep.
to tell you the truth, like I think these 3/2 flowers, which you anyways don't want to trade. Right? You usually don't want to trade like your 4 mana creatures to a 2-drop or 3-drop, and that's what you get here. This card, all these would not be anything super special, even if they didn't have a condition. If it was just like when he dies, you draw a card. It would be way better, but that would be reasonable, I think. Still a D+, no matter how good you are at getting this effect.
Not in love with it. Slightly higher on it, but I'm on a C-.
Okay, I'll move the Analyst to D- because I think this card might actually be worse, and I don't want to give this an F as well.
The 1/4 you're putting on a D-?
Yeah. Because I think this card might actually be worse than that card.
It's not good, but how is it not? How is it completely unplayable?
Because it's a 4-mana 3/2 flyer.
Wait, so you are literally never gonna put this in your deck? That's an F. That's an F.
I would say I'm gonna put this into my deck once, maybe.
It's a D- then.
Yeah.
F is literally like no way. I play another land or there is.
Yeah. I think there is a chance I put it like about once into my deck, but I think this card overall, like we've seen multiple iterations of like dice draw a card straight up, Lookout, Spore Crawler. They vary in power level. They are generally pretty awkward. Even Lookout wasn't like that insane. It was good, but it was like way better than this card. And then you gotta have a transformed permanent, which is not easy. Your opponent can also interact with the transformed permanent, and then it's just shit. Yeah, I don't see this. I'm on D-.
By the way, the ETB and that effects are so different. Like if this card was said when it ETBs, it would be one of the best blue commons, if not the best blue common. That's how different that triggers and enter the battlefield triggers are.
If it was enter the battlefield, draw a card straight up, I think it'd be worse than the bounce spell. But anyway, we can keep fighting about it.
Worse than a bounce spell?
No, the one that you are mid on, and then
this
NCA gave a B+.
If this would be like ETB, you draw a card 3/2 flyer.
Yep, worse.
NCA you as well?
Wait, what?
Would this if this was just like 4 mana 3/2 flyer, draw a card when it enters the battlefield?
Enters the battlefield?
Would it be worse than a bounce spell?
Probably.
Oh my god.
I mean, I would give it like a B- or a B or something if it was ETB draw a card. If it was die draw a card, I would give it like a D+ or a C-.
Okay. Order of the Mirror. For 1 and a blue, it's a 2/1 vanilla creature, but you can pay 3 and a white Phyrexian mana to transform it into a 3/3 that says when it gets blocked by a creature, not by... What else blocks?
Nothing else blocks, Lola.
That creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Yeah. Oh, sorry. 2 mana 2/1 very bad, but next turn you can make it a 3/3, pay 2 life, and it's nice on attacks. I mean, it's really nice on attacks. I mean, the flip side is really nice. You just kind of have to invest a lot into it. You might just trade it as a 2-drop, and then if you have nothing else to play on a 3, you can just transform it. You don't need the clause by a creature for it to mean that every creature gets -1/-1. I'm not a big fan, but it's fine. I'm on a C-. I mean, I really hate 2/1s for 2, but I mean, the 3 is not that much to pay if you really have nothing else to do. And a lot of limited games you don't have much to do on turn 3. It happens, even if you have a really good curve. It's kind of crappy, I don't know. I'm actually gonna give it a D+.
I think this is a fine 2-drop, you know? Like, 2 mana 2/1 that does nothing else is a credit card, but the flip side is actually really hard to tussle with. And I think it's perfectly reasonable. This is like a C for me. It's a fine 2-drop.
Yeah, I agree with everything Scotty said. I think it's a fine 2-drop. The thing I would like to add is I think blue really needs fine 2-drop. Like, blue's spells are great and they need creatures to work, and blue doesn't really have creatures.
Blue never gets... Lately, blue doesn't get good creatures, early creatures. What the fuck is up with that?
Yeah, and sure, you can add creatures from your other color, mainly, but still. I'm gonna go to a C+, because I think this is really... Like, blue really needs this. I would go to a C normally with this 2-drop, but I think blue really needs this, so I'm gonna go C+.
I'm okay with a C-, because it is a nice flip set, even though the front side is abysmally bad. And it does attack battles nicely, right? But you did kind of invest a lot of mana, so opponent is gonna destroy your battles. So I'm okay with a C-, but C+, I mean, I'm never picking this as a C+ compared to any other card that in any color, compared to any 2-drop in any color that got a C+.
I think I will.
Okay.
That's like, I agree. Like, I can even see myself giving this a C- normally, but I think it's so pivotal to, like, blue decks.
At B-?
No, C+. I could give this a C- is what I meant normally. Some other color. But
Okay.
I think it's like, blue's need of this pushes it enough to become a C+.
So C- from me in the end. Now we get to a good blue creature, and it's not like 5 mana or something. Preening Champion for 2 and a blue. You get a flying 2/2, and when it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 blue and red elemental creature token. If no Convoke is in the set, no synergy, nothing. This is always amazing. There is no set where this is not amazing. We had similar card in War of the Spark, and it was one of the best 3-drops in the set. Incredible. You get a normal flyer and a 1/1. You have flying 2/2, but 3/3 spread over 2 creatures. Incredibly high in Convoke decks. If you have 0 Convoke, this will gonna be one of your best 2-drops as well. It's huge to get a 3-drop that is where you get 2 creatures, and one of them is just evasion for battles, for example. And this is not even bad blocker, because you get a 1/1 and a 2/2. Like, it's great on offensive, great for Convoke, great for Knights. It just works with everything. I'm gonna give it a B. I think this is like the best blue creature on common, if I'm remembering correctly.
I agree, it's the best blue creature in common. I don't really have anything else to add. Knight's relevant, everything's relevant. B- for me. B-.
Yeah, I agree with basically everything. These kind of cards have overperformed all time and time again. Like, this is like something everyone would rate probably pretty high in, but cards that play offense and defense well. Rabble in the last set, IMO the best common in the set. Actually, it's the second best one after Chorus. But anyway, even the 3/3s that make 1/1s, like 2 bodies is just nice. This play, yeah, like I said, plays offense, plays defense pretty well. Really nice with Convoke, just plays everything well with everything that blue is trying to do. I'll go B.
Okay. Protocol Knight. For 3 and a blue, you get a 3/4 that says, that's a knight, and says when it enters the battlefield, tap target creature on opponent controls, put a stun counter on that creature if you control another knight. Now, just tapping wouldn't be that good, but I'm expecting you're gonna have enough knights. I mean, in blue-white is by far the best, but if you do have a knight, this is incredibly powerful. If you're tapping and putting a stun counter, that's crazy. It helps you clear battles that are already on the field, helps you clear battles next turn, helps opponent not clear them, and even if there are no battles going around, it's just being played. It's just great for any race scenario. This needs to have a ceiling grade. Like, there are gonna be blue decks that don't have enough knights. Like, you're gonna be blue something that's not a white.
I'm not sure there is, because all the blue creatures are knights.
There is like the good blue creature that's a knight is the common.
Yeah, both of the last cards are knights.
Yeah, but the first one is like that 2/1. I mean, it's a knight.
If you compare it to other blue 2-drops, the other 2-drop is Expedition Lookout. You're not playing that. It's the Order of the Mirror is the best blue 2-drop at common, because it's comparing to Expedition Lookout.
I think the next one is close, but it's not really a 2-drop. So,
like, there is the 2/2 is a knight, right? The 3-drop, but the 2/1 is also a knight. How many? I mean, you're not gonna be picking those highly. Like, when you start the draft and so on. Maybe later on you're gonna be picking them. Those are just two other commons, but only one of them is really, really good. And if you're in any color that's not white, you're not gonna have other knights. Like if usually I think when I'm playing blue, most of my creatures are not blue, so that's the thing, right? Sure, if I got a lot of 3-drops, that's perfect, but most of my creatures are not blue, so most of my creatures are not knights. Like there is no way, like no matter with what color you pair it with, even though you gave that card a C+, that Order of the Mirror, like you're not picking it over basically any 2-drop in other colors. Because basically every 2-drop is better in other colors. So you got one knight beside this one that has lower casting cost than it. And it's that last card that we saw. So there is gonna be a good amount of decks where this just taps opponent's creature.
Yeah.
So you don't even play it.
I don't know why you draft something that's not blue-white, but sure, I agree.
No, come on. It's yeah, you're just blue-white every single time you're blue. What the fuck? Anyways, so I'm okay giving this card like a ceiling grade of a B- or a B. A B? I'm okay with a B ceiling grade. What do you think about a ceiling grade?
I probably wanted a B- ceiling grade.
I mean, I think this is in Knight decks like slightly better than Bergstrider. So I like B- or a B. I think I like B- a little bit more. I'm still picking this as a C+ though. Even if we have a ceiling grade, doesn't matter. I'm still picking this as C+. I think it's gonna be.
Yeah, I'm okay with a C+, but B-, B- ceiling grade. Okay, that's fine. I would give it a B, but B- is fine as well.
Agreed, C+.
Next up, we have Saiba Cryptomancer for 1 and a blue. We have a flash 0/1 that has backup 1 and hexproof. Again, it's like backup is just put a +1/+1 counter on something. It can be this guy, and it gets the text. Text is hexproof. Okay, this always has hexproof forever.
Yes.
Yep, always has hexproof forever.
Let's just start there for a second. It is a 1/2, so it's not like you're getting a good 2-drop where you can put things and it still has hexproof. But it is a little bit annoying that it has hexproof on its own. Is there any Throne possibility to do here? There is no auras that give flying, and so yeah, there are no like crazy auras.
Yeah, just stack up all your backups on it.
Yeah, but yeah, but it doesn't have evasion or nothing, so.
Or Sky Fisher equipment.
Oh,
What is it called?
Aura.
Kai'Sail.
Oh,
Kai'Sail.
there is aura with Convoke that is flying, but that's an uncommon, right?
That's an uncommon, yeah.
This is a good place to put your backup counters onto.
Yeah, Astral Wingspan.
I don't know
Astral
how good
Wingspan.
is it really good for you guys to put a backup counters on 2 mana 1/2?
Solid.
Like first backup counter makes it 2-drop, and it makes your other creature like be worth 1 less mana as well. So you're kind of losing mana like that.
Yeah, I don't think you want to play this on 2 and then start putting counters on this, but I think that's like more fine than it looks at first glance, kinda.
It is like a trick +1/+1 that protects your creature and wins you some combats. I think it's a fine support creature. I'm actually on a C- for this. I don't think it's too bad.
Yeah, I think this card is perfectly fine. I'm actually most excited about it for what it does to combat, you know? Just like creatures of similar power toughness in the early game mash together all the time. And if you just sort of flash this in and win combat, that feels real nice. C for me.
Yeah. There's basically Scarlet Mantle. Not sure.
Yeah, from Theros, yeah.
Yeah, Scarlet Mantle on a stick, basically. Yeah, I like this. This is kind of a trick, like you have to consider this more as a trick, but it's also like it can work in combat. It's not that easy to make it work in combat, but it certainly can. Like you trade your 2-drop, you play this, and it works in combat. It gives you an 0/1. It works against removal. I think it's a nice trick. It comes with the body, and even the jump logger is really nice. You can also put a counter on this, ambush something sometimes with double block. You can, yeah. And you can do a lot of things with this. It also plays nice with the counter spells, or like a decent. If they play an removal spell, you play this. If they play a creature, you counter it. I'm gonna see for this.
Actually, comparing this to Starlit Mantle makes me like this actually almost decent amount more because like it has that same effect, but then also tacked on is either like gain like 2 to 3 life when you chump block something, or make it really awkward for them to make a combat into battles because you can chump and they won't actually be able to finish it, which I think is actually a big game. Pretty stinking strong. Still C for me.
Still C- for me. Stasis Field for 1 and a blue. You get enchant creature. Enchanted creature has base power and toughness of 0-2, has defender, and loses all other abilities. It's again like removal for that doesn't cost 1, it's 2, and sure, it kind of makes creature into a bad creature, but it's still a creature. It still has all the +1/+1 counters on it. It doesn't have the abilities. It can't attack. But I think it's bad. I think it's a really bad way to remove anything. I'm gonna D. I hate playing a card that's not even a 1/1. And it's not 1/1. It rarely gets better with things. It just gets worse. Depending where you put it on. Like sometimes you're gonna make even something bigger, but that's gonna be rare, very rarely, and I don't know why you would do that. But I really, really dislike this type of removal that doesn't remove a creature. Like it's not a 1/1, and they can still convoke it, and they can still block. No, thank you. D. D minus.
D minus is high, I think. This is an F.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is better than the other blue removal spell. Even if it doesn't have flash, at least it loses all abilities, so they can't use their abilities on the creature anymore. Like, if you're really desperate for removal, I still don't want to run the other one. And I still don't want to run this, but I guess I could run this. I'm on a D minus still.
It's really bad.
I guess I could go D, but I lost the status at D minus.
Okay, this is the card that I thought was the best blue common, because I thought it was an instant speed spell. Okay, we got Temporal Cleansing. For 3 and a blue, we have Convoke Sorcery. The owner of target non-land permanent puts it into their library second from the top or on the bottom. These are always instants. This would be incredible as an instant. It's also always at least 1/1. And you're basically always paying less mana than the opponent for what you're removing. And it would work on tokens, it would work on anything that got a +1/+1 counter. Equipped creatures would have to re-equip again. This would be insane if it was an instant. Same like card draw, the 4-mana card draw. If that was sorcery, it would be pretty bad. All of a sudden you don't have any blockers left that convoked. Vigilance, well, doesn't work that well, because if they block and trade, you can't convoke it. It would be not very good. And same for this one. I mean, but it still is always like 1/1. I think this is better than the last card. Because opponent loses that card. And even if they're getting it back again, they're gonna lose the card that they would draw otherwise. So this is not a bounce. But sorcery speed kills it, man. Insane instant speed and very whatever as a sorcery. I'm actually on a C- or a D+. I'm gonna start it as a D+.
Okay, yeah, I'm not like super keen on this. I'm not really, because there's like 2 roles, I guess. You use this to gain a mana advantage, so you can like squeeze attacks through, I guess, if you're playing a more proactive game. Or if not, then you want this in your more controlling deck, and then using a card that doesn't actually permanently answer like a problematic threat is pretty stinking bad. I think this is a C- for me.
Yeah, I like this a little bit more than that. This is like kind of a 4-mana sorcery removal spell that is Convoke. Putting a non-permanent in the library second from the top is generally kind of like between bounce and removal, but like how it performs, I do think is generally close to removal, not close to bounce. And I mean, from it that way, it's like a 4-mana sorcery removal, hits anything with Convoke. And sure, it's worse against some bombs, but like, whatever. Yeah, I like this a good amount. My plan is to play as many of these as I can get in my blue decks. Whether or not I have to end up putting some of these cards lower, we'll see, because at some point you do need also creatures in your decks. But I'm gonna start this as C+.
Yeah, I'm just also thinking about the situations where you play like a 3 mana 2/2 that makes a 1/1, and then
Yeah, like even a 3 mana or something, you don't have to tap a lot, and obviously you can tap a lot, which is really nice. But you don't have to tap a lot for this card to be okay. I think.
yeah,
Like,
it's true. It's like if you play this on just on a 4 mana creature, you both spend 4 mana, so that even without convoke is fine. But you're basically always convoking with something. Yeah, I'm okay on a C. I'm okay on a C. Can you up the grade on C for me? I just got a little bit too down when I realized it's not instant speed.
Yeah, you were talking it's instant speed and this is insane, and you're like, nah.
Well, it would be
instant
just
speed,
insane,
but-
insane. Like,
Yeah. It would
You
probably
should give it a
be-
bad grade because it hurt you, Lola.
Yeah,
it
I
did
think
hurt me. It did hurt me.
It would be the best removal spell in the set if it was instant, probably.
I'm kind of down on blue because, well, this card was my huge selling point for blue, the Temporal Cleansing.
We gave 3 Bs at blue common already.
V or U?
Bs. No, like it's like in the B range.
V
Which
or
is
U?
also
Or you two?
all of us, I think.
Really?
Oh no, never mind. Sorry, I'm not counting the bounce spell. I guess I shouldn't be counting the bounce spell because you're totally off base about that.
Yeah. Thunderhead Squadron for 5 and a blue. We get a 3/4 Convoke Flyer. Well, usually you pay 5 mana for this kind of effect, and it's fine. It's a knight. I'm not against this card. I don't think it's anything crazy. But I kind of find having this as a top end. Clears battles, defense battles, and attacks well. I mean, blue is gonna profit so much if you can go wide. Like, if you can pair it with something that goes a bit wider. Like, that EZ guy that makes 3 bodies for 5 is looking like better and better. I'm okay with a C- for this.
The balance and convoke and the actual convokers will be kind of interesting, but I like this a decent amount. I think this is fine for the rate that you get. Relatively cheap otherwise. C for me.
I think this card sucks. I think this card is okay on its own, but I don't think it fits with what blue wants to do. Even though it wants to do convoke stuff, I don't want... This is like an aggressive convoke card, and I'm not really into it. This plays defense kind of very poorly. Actually extremely poorly. Like, even when it's good, it isn't that good. Now, if you have a lot of token makers in blue-red, maybe if you get like 3 of that makes you 1/1 commons and 3 of champions or something, sure, I can put this into my deck. But I'm guessing that I'm hoping to not run this in any blue deck generally.
Okay.
I'll go down to D actually. Yeah. I think D plus is generous.
We got a Tidal Terror for 4 and double blue. It's a 5/6 octopus that says when it attacks, you may tap 2 other untapped creatures you control. If you do, this guy can't be blocked this turn. And it has Island Walking too. So it can always be an island for 2 mana, which is quite costly. All these Landwalkers, basic Landwalkers, cost 2. And the last time we had them was... I mean, there was in Modern Horizons too, but that was a bit different. But the last time we had this effect was, I think, in Kamigawa, where you had Planeswalking and you gain 2 life with that 5-drop. And 2 life was huge there because you are spending 2 mana just to get a land. And there are some other factors, but it's a big difference. Now,
and that card wasn't anything special.
It was nothing too special, but it was pretty good for how it looked at first, to tell the truth. So
I don't know. I thought it was like a C- or a D+ at the end.
I think in the end it was always like a C. But tapping 2 other, like, it seems like 5 damage, right? It's 5 damage is a quarter of a life for the opponent, and it can work out, right? I can imagine like blue decks having enough card draw and everything, so you stall the board, you have a lot of everybody has a lot of things, and then you attack a few times with this and you win, but I don't think you're really working towards doing that, so I'm gonna just give this a D+. That's kind of a high grade, maybe probably too high of a grade, but just because, like, I think Blue's game plan is gonna be alright with this effect, even though I'm not particularly looking forward to having this one, and I think you just always get it. This is like so easy to get. Nobody's gonna pick this highly, I think. So D+ for me.
Okay, I'm a tiny bit higher. I'm I'm a fan of guaranteeing my third land drop and also holding up Essence Scatter at the same time. Or rather, I should use the real name. Assimilate Essence. As like just a part of your early game. And actually, when you hit 6 mana, 5/6 is pretty good at stabilizing you. In terms of like just being larger than the other creatures of the battlefield. I do think it is costly to attack with this and have it be unblockable. You know, like it chunks off a fourth of your opponent's life total, sure, but like tapping 2 other creatures to do so is not cheap. That's like leaving the shields down while you're chipping in. You know, I'd rather spend mana to make this unblockable. I think, than having to tap down my blockers. You know, but yeah, this is C-.
Or vigilance creatures.
Yeah, sure, they can attack at the same time.
Yeah.
You're 1/4.
Yeah, Scully brought up some good points. I agree. This is like kind of nice. I think blue decks are also pretty mana hungry from the looks of it. Though something like Kadro does inherently help with mana as well. Even though Kadro wants mana, but it also helps with mana. It's like, yeah. But I think this card is fine, especially considering you do have a bunch of other things you can do at instant speed. I think this plays pretty well into it. I'm gonna C- as well, but I could see it going lower for sure.
Next up, we have Zhalfirin Shapecraft for 1 and blue. It's an instant speed spell that says target creature has base power and toughness 4/3 until end of turn, draw a card. So step down from a 4/4 or a 4/5 that we got used in the last 2 years, but step down from 3 mana to 2 mana, which is huge. 3 mana is 50% more, way easier to do this on 2. And it really works well with +1/+1 counters. Backup has +1/+1 counters. The incubator tokens have +1/+1 counters. So this just buffs the incubator token, and it gives anything that has a +1/+1 counters, it's gonna give it like the extra power and toughness equal to the number of the +1/+1 counters. Even if it's just 1, now you get a 5/4. This works really well with 1-drops, in 2-drops with backup. I mean, even with 3-drops, like, I think this card is really nice. I think this card is really good. This just looks great in this set. I think there's enough support, and even like if you go to like just a small thing lying around like elemental, making that a 4/3 is amazing. Maybe you put your backup on something else, and then you just want to make that weak creature bigger. I love this card. I think this is great. I might be too high, but I'm on a B- for this one. I think this card is amazing.
Yeah, I think that's super high. Although, I guess I am kind of a hater. So like, let's break this down to a couple parts. 4/3. In terms of the stats is bad. I think that's a huge difference between 4 toughness and 5 toughness, because that significantly decreases the combats you straight up win and draw a card in comparison to its predecessors. The saving grace here will be the synergies. So I think the ceiling for this is very high, and the floor for this is bad. I think the floor for this is quite bad. In terms of like, if you're getting into combat with normal, non+1/+1 countered, non-processor creatures, or is it processor? Incubated creatures. If you're getting to combat like normally, then this card does almost nothing. So let me count. Tokens, incubated tokens, or sorry, like elemental tokens, like the small ball ones, the incubator tokens, the transform ones, and +1/+1 countered creatures, so it actually can survive combat. Like those are all fine. Those are all fine and good.
Those are all really good,
I think
right?
the normal case, and this is just a guess, obviously, in terms of how common it'll pop up. I think the normal case is just more common. I think the normal case is bad. So I don't think I'm super hot on this card. I'm on a C-.
I'm more with low. I think there is, first of all, we can compare the Suit Up and Metamorphosis, which were both excellent cards, like B's, B-minuses. They did give it the like more toughness, which is big, but they also both did cost 3 mana. Which is very large. Like, this card's ceiling is absurdly high. If you think about it, like, Suit Up and Metamorphose already were, like, really good, and now that you just get it with 1 mana cheaper. Yeah, you can't tussle with creatures as well in combat, but you do... Like, it's not the end of the world if you have to cycle this to trade, which, if it was 3 mana, would kind of be. And then there are a lot of, like you guys said, there's a backup, works really good with this, and there's Incubate, works really good with this. But there's also like a decent amount of some random token makers and stuff, like, and the backup creatures actually work like kind of double nice with this, because if you have something like the Cryptomancer, which we looked at, it's very good to target the Cryptomancer, and it's also very good to target the back-up creature, where you put the counter on. Same thing with the white 1-drop and so on. But I guess though there is only a couple of those, mainly the Cryptomancer and the white 1-drop. But yeah, red has like make 2 1/1s common. There's also Preening Champion, like you're totally fine trading those in combat and doing that, like drawing a card of this. But you are like an okay amount of them, you're also gonna just win combat with those. I'm on a C+, I think, just because blue doesn't have that many creatures. Like, I'm expecting to play like 11 creatures, maybe 12 creatures in blue. So I'm on a C+, but I think the card is quite good.
This works really well with the Hexproof guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go down to a C+, actually, just because I remember that I had a suit up as a C+, I think, in the end. But I think the big deal is, yeah, what NCA said, that blue maybe doesn't have that many things that work super well with this. So you do need something in other colors. And it always looks like, oh, that's fine, but it's not fine. It's okay, but it's not perfect. When a color synergizes just with itself, you can just stain that color and choose the second color whenever, and it's fine, because your cards work well with themselves. When you need some other color and some a little bit specific cards, maybe there is plenty of them, but when you need those to synergize with some of your cards, well, unless you get them and unless you get into those colors, like your cards might go down in power level. So I think it's like in Brothers War, just red deck had enough sacrifice team and artifact team. It didn't need anything else. Anything else you get extra is fine, but you just take red cards and they're gonna work well with themselves. And yeah, that's a bit of a problem, but I think it's a very powerful card, especially for this set. So C+ for me as well. Okay, one thing to say. Do you guys have anything to say about blue? First, you lead the way. Blue commons. That's the most important thing about blue, so let's hear it.
I like blue a lot, but I do think there is tension between most of the good blue cards wanting creatures and blue not providing good creatures. Even though, yes, you can always get your creatures from other color, but it's not that simple. Like, it does hurt. So I think there is tension there a little bit. So I think like blue individually, the cards I think are really good or pretty good, but I like it less than white because I think the color plays with itself slightly worse than white. Even though the cards I think have higher ceilings maybe. I think white just plays extremely well to get with itself, and you don't really have to worry about what you have in your deck. You just pick the good white card and continue, and then you put them into your deck, and they all like kind of work together, at least mostly. And I do think blue can run into issues where it just like you have too few creatures or something along those lines. You don't have enough things to convoke. Like it's just like plays out a little bit clunky. But I still like blue a lot. But it kind of needs more support than white. Let's put it that way.
So you like it more than the next colors?
Yes.
I got a problem with blue. Scotty, please tell me what you think about blue.
There's a pretty large delta. So like, when it comes to specific archetypes that blue is trying to support, it's really tough when one of them feels like it's falling flat. I think there's a high consistency in the quality of the white commons, and then I really don't see that because I really am not a huge fan of like the self-mill. I'm not a huge fan of like the transforming archetype that Simic is trying to show us. Which means that like if you can snap up good blue, and do you know the problem is with these? Like if you're in a blue-green transforming archetype, you're still playing your Preening Champion, right? You're still like playing your whatever, your Meeting of the Minds. So I think it's going to be pretty tough to actually get into like a really solid blue deck at common, considering it's going to be very competitive for the top cream of the crop blue commons, and it falls off pretty hard after that.
Yeah.
Like in order to have really like strong support throughout, I think you need strong niche cards And I don't see blue having strong niche cards. Like the strongest niche card to me is like Protocol Knight or something, you know, something that's like really good in one archetype and like kind of meh everywhere else. So like you'll definitely get the late Protocol Knights. But there's not really that to me in
Yeah, I
much
mean,
of blue.
when colors are deep enough, like blue and white is, I don't think it's much of an issue. If all the other color pairs suck, like, oh, of course an issue, but I don't think it matters that much. And like, I am kind of expecting half the colors pair to about be bad, or places where I wouldn't like to end up in. It's like generally how it goes. In green and black, especially in green, it's like always half because Golgari always sucks, and then Simic or Gruul, or Simic and Gruul like suck pretty often, so it's like always half the color
That's
pair.
so
So
sad.
still green is pretty good in a lot of sets.
Yeah, I actually have a problem with blue. Like, my dreams got shattered when that card, card was a sorcery. That's the first thing. But I really have a problem with blue. Like, the colors that don't play well with themselves have always been a problem. And blue commons don't play well with themselves.
I disagree with that. I think the blue commons play very well with together, but you just need you need a little bit of help in the creature department. I don't think you even need that much help, but think you need some help in the creature department. But outside of that, I think the blue commons play together very well.
I think blue commons don't play well together at all, because the extremely important part of any color is 2-drop slot. Like, if you don't have a 2-drop slot,
I mean, you have the counter spell and you have the 2-drop.
Your
Which you don't like
counter
for some
spell is
reason.
very crappy 2-drop slot.
Yeah, but it's like passable still.
It's passable. That's the problem I have. Like, when you don't have like at least like 2 very solid like C pluses or something, but real C pluses, not like blue 2-drop sucks, so this is a C plus. No, real cards that are like C pluses in any color. That's where the color gets its base, right? Because decks don't play well, most decks don't play well, basically all of them, if you don't have a good 2-drop base. And blue doesn't have it. And then we get to good blue cards, and I'm completely with Scotty on that one. Like, there are like around 3 blue cards that are incredibly powerful, that are better than basically every white card from our point of view, from our grades at least. But then there's everything else. Like, then there is like 8 white commons, which are very solid, like C+, you're happy with them. They're not maybe broken, but you're very, very happy with them. And then you have 8 blue commons that are Ds. So blue seems like a very shallow color, There is like a small amount of commons that work very well. Now, if those commons, I mean, actually the number is not...
Lola, let's stop here. Shallow, I think all the next 3 colors we will see are a bit more shallow than blue.
We're gonna get to that. I'm just comparing to white right now.
Yeah, but like white is extremely deep. Basically everything in white is playable. Basically.
White is super deep, yeah.
White is incredibly deep. It's more deep than any color I can imagine. Maybe Midnight Hunt blue was like about as deep.
Well, I was just thinking about Midnight Hunt when I was thinking about white, like 5 minutes ago.
Like
yeah.
Maybe Midnight Hunt blue was about as deep, but like white is extremely deep in this set, and I do think it can support more drafters, for example. But blue being shallow also doesn't sound right to me, because there are like 7 cards we gave at least like C's to.
The big problem I have with those cards is none of them are good early game cards except the 3-drop, which is not a 2-drop.
Yes, I did say that I have the same problem. Like, I do think blue is a little bit clunky, but I don't think it's necessarily shallow, nor like I think it plays well with itself, and it is like decently deep at least, but I think it has a big problem in the creature department, especially early on.
Yeah, it's like every time I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, because I really like these good blue cards. And there is a good number of them. But all of them are some kind of like card draw, interaction, some things that you don't put on the board early, that are not like one-on-one tradable fine creatures or something that you have on turn 2. You might say, okay, it's a counter spell, but opponent goes first, you cannot play your 2-drop counter spell. You just end your turn, right? Because they already played their 2-drop, and it's every color that has ever been good had some decent 2-drops.
In any set with Essence Scatter, I'm happy holding Essence Scatter on 2, even on draw. I would prefer something else, but I am happy with holding up a counter spell on turn 3.
It's okay, but I think that's a big problem Blue has, and it looks like a really good support color. Like once you get away from that 2-drop or something that you do proactively on 2.
I think. Okay, you can finish.
they get into good stuff, right? But well, I mean, maybe it's just because we looked at white right now, but like that early slot is crappy, and there are a lot of D level cards that on blue commons. So if like 2 other people are in blue, or one, like at least 1 or 2 are gonna be in blue every time, in a color that's fine. In every pod, because there is a lot of people drafting, and everybody has 2 colors at least, and they're gonna take your good blue cards, and you're gonna be left with cards that you don't really want to play, like in picks like 5+, and cards
I think more like 8+, but sure.
The best blue cards are not comparable to the bottom, like 60% of the blue cards, like top 40% and bottom 60%. It's a huge difference. It's not like, oh, these are a bit weaker.
Yeah, but even I think like 50% of the blue is pretty good. But like even if half of a color is very good, that's generally the makings of a top color. Like
well, your grades don't say that, Sensei. If you think that
they do,
they don't say that. Like you have, you don't have, you have like
about half.
You got a lot more cards as like being kind of shitty in the more than 50% of the cards.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 good cards. That's plenty. 10 cards that are above D. Like that. That's in sets where there are more than 10 cards that are above D. Is that this color can be the best color in the set. I don't think blue is, but they definitely can.
Okay, I think it can't if some of those are not 2-drops.
I mean, Midnight Hunt had a similar amount of 2-drops.
Midnight Hunt had like you had.
You had one 2-drop.
Which one?
In blue at common. The Disturb guy.
Which one?
Disturb guy. The 1 blue 2/1 that disturbed for 1 blue made the 1/2 flyer at common.
Oh, and you had a 1/3 larger zombie, which you.
Yeah, you had a 1-drop as well.
Yeah, so that's.
I think you have the 2 in this as well, like Counterspell and
2/1.
The 2, yeah, 2/1, which I do think are both a little bit worse. But like, I don't think it's essential to have multiple good cheap creatures.
What does the shallow mean? Shallow means not that like not just weak, but that there is a lot of cards that you don't, a lot of commons that you don't want in your deck. Right? That's a shallow. That's what shallow usually means. But okay, I really hope that I'm wrong, because I really like these good blue cards.
Yeah, I agree with, but I like overall I agree with you. I just like disagree on some of the points, but I do agree that blue does need some help, unlike white.
So it's gonna be a little bit hard maybe to start with just blue, I think.
I don't know if that's true either, but you just need to like pick your, like you need to pick some good creatures you see from other colors at some point.
The nice thing is like the 3-drop that makes a 1/1 gets you back real nicely if you play the bad 2-drop. That's a really good thing. Alright, are we ready to go on?
Yeah. Should I read the uncommons?
Scotty is the boss.
Yeah, but I don't want to read rares again.
Are you okay with that, Scotty?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Rares are really tough.
Yeah, I agree. Rares, it's too much to handle thinking about the rares and what they do. It's like...
Okay.
Okay. First up, Artistic Refusal. 4 blue for an instant with Convoke. Choose one or both. Counter target spell. Draw 2 cards, then discard a card. This is a really weird card. Like, the upside certainly is there. Like, countering something, even for, let's say, 3 mana, and drawing 2, then discarding, or even 4, it is a pretty good card. And obviously, it's in some scenarios, you have, like, 4 creatures out, and you're not really that much attacking in blue, I don't think, and, like, care that much about attacking. Care to some degree, but not that much. And this card does become very good. The one awkward thing is that, like, Convoke counterspell means that you might have to tap your things, especially if you hold up some mana. Your opponent might want to see if you have a counterspell or something. You might have to tap your things pre-combat, which is really weird. But I do think there is, like, enough upside on this card. At least, like, it doesn't look bad to me. It doesn't look great to me either. It looks a little bit clunky, but I'm willing to give this a chance. It might be, like, bad, but also might be quite good. I'm not, like, quite sure how to rate this card. And it's still, like, 6 mana, a little bit expensive. But I kind of like starting it as a C myself.
Yeah, I'm okay starting as a C minus. I'm okay with this card. I mean, you kind of really want to have, like, at least 3 creatures up, but I can see this, like, being sometimes. You can counter anything with this and it's fine. Like, looting for 2 is not nothing after you counter something. It's pretty damn good. I'm okay with this. C minus as a start. Kind of late game, obviously a late game card, but why not?
Yeah, this card's really bizarre.
Bizarre.
So I'm happy that it exists because it makes you think. I think it's dog poop. I think this dog is this card is real bad. I think the cost and the setup that you have to actually have this function at all doesn't outweigh, or sorry, the cost is too high to actually, like, put this in your deck and be reasonably happy about this, right? Because you can't actually use this on any developing turn, so it's just like a hyper late game card at that point, and then still not being able to cast this even in the late game because you can't tap down blockers is pretty miserable. Like, if you trade off anything at all, you're just casting this for like 5-6 mana, which I don't think is an acceptable Magic card. I think this is a D.
Could go down.
I'll go down to a C minus, but I have hope.
I hope as well.
Astral Wingspan, 4 on the blue for an enchantment aura with Convoke. Enchant creature. It enters the battlefield. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card, and the enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has flying. Now, this is kind of like the last card. I think it's kind of really clunky. It kind of has the upside, but it also actually doesn't have the upside. Like, what the fuck is this card? I have to tap my whole body, draw a card, and give one of
Yargle one shot.
flying. True. Combo with Yargle. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. That's the best combo with this card. I don't like this. These kind of effects have, like, been really mediocre all time and time again, and except, I guess, Reed. I don't remember. Anyway, the one in M21 for 3 mana, but it was 3 mana. I'm just gonna give this a D. I guess if you're, like, an aggressive blue-white deck, mainly white probably, maybe this is okay to play. I don't know. I'll start this a D.
This can be a nice way to clear the battle, I guess. That would give you a creature. But, I mean, it's so clunky. Like, highly costed Convoke cards that are sorcery speed and don't give you a creature, don't give you a body, or are not removal spells, are problematic. Are really problematic. I'm gonna go for a D plus though. What I'm gonna be doing is playing a 1/3 red card that gives haste to...
I'm gonna be splashing this in Golgari with Yargle, and that's the only time I'll draft Golgari probably.
No, I don't think that's not consistent enough. So you play the 1/3 red guy 2-drop that gives haste to anything. Then you play Yargle, give haste to Yargle, convoke 5 of your creatures, and give Yargle and attack with Yargle, so opponent cannot respond to that.
Okay, now we are talking.
Now we're talking.
Okay, I mean.
That's a deck. I don't like this card. I'm gonna be on a D plus because I think it can make, like, invite it would do it. Like you maybe clear some saga, some battles. Blue looks really bad at clearing battles, by the way.
Yeah, but luckily the blue battles also look bad, so it doesn't matter.
I'm gonna give it a D plus as a start, but I can see it going down. I don't like this card that much.
I mean, I like this a little bit more. I think the main condition is for you to be a proactive deck, and this is actually pretty scary. Because like if some of your creatures are naturally gonna get blanked by blockers, and then at that point you just tap them to throw this on your largest one and continue pushing in damage. And I think it's pretty good at doing that specific job. So this is C- for me.
Okay, next card. Captive Weird. 1 mana. So blue mana. For a 1/3 defender, and for 3 and a Phyrexian red, you can transform Weird. It transforms into a 3/3, and when it transforms, exile the top card of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play that card. So it's like a 1 mana 1/3 defender that for 3 and 2 life or 4 transforms, and you can draw a card. You have time until the end of your next turn, so it's it's effectively draw. It's a little bit worse than draw a card because you still have to play next turn, but it's kind of effectively drawing a card. This card looks really good, especially considering all the blue commons need like creatures, cheap creatures are gonna be premium. Like, oh, this already looks amazing, but I think blue also like really wants this more than it would maybe in some other spots. It's like 1 mana 1/3 defender already okay. Like, it kind of reminds me of Lord Zombie, but better. Like, it can actually turn into a pretty okay creature, and it gets you some value in the meantime. I'm gonna B for this, I think.
B? I like this card quite a lot, but B? I'm gonna B minus, so it's great.
That tone made me think you're gonna give it a really low grade.
That was so good. I was like, Lola is like a B, so I was like, Lola is gonna give it like a C or a C minus.
I'll be so high
like,
for this. I don't know. I mean, it's great. This is like we have the Incubate 3 card, right? But seems like it's similar cost. Here you gotta pay life, can pay a little bit less. But I mean, oh wait, it's 1 mana. Oh, I thought it was 2 mana for some reason.
No.
Oh, you just sneak it in. That's really good.
I can see this going to a B plus.
I'm on a B. I thought this was 2 mana. I was on a B minus when this was 2 mana in my head. Oh, okay. Why did I see this? Okay, 1 mana. That's nice. All right, yeah.
Sorry, what was your grade again?
B.
A B?
Yeah.
I'm also on a B.
I thought it was 2 mana. I mean, this would not be a B for 2 mana, right?
That's why it's 1 mana and we gave it a B because it's fun.
I mean, for me it would be a B minus for 2 mana.
I'll actually move to B plus, but yeah, let's go to the next card. Change the equation. 1 and a blue for an instant. Choose 1. Can't target spell with mana value 2 or less, or can't target red or green spell with mana value 6 or less.
Just give it an F and a sideboard grade, please.
Sideboard, yeah. I don't think this is good enough in
F and it is good in your sideboard.
Corruption of Towashi. 4 and a blue for an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, incubate 4. Whenever a permanent you control transforms, or a permanent enters the battlefield under your control transformed, you may draw a card. Do this only once each turn.
It's
like,
weird.
I like the other enchantments that come with incubate tokens, but this is really expensive. It's like, it reminds me of cards like the 5 mana enchantment cards that draw a card each upkeep or whatever ends anyway, draw a card per turn. But you get a 2 mana 4/4, but then you also don't necessarily draw a card each turn.
It costs so
like
much.
On its face it's 5+2 for a 4/4 that draws a card, and that's pretty bad. But the earliest you can play, like, get a creature is 6. Yeah, I'm not in this. This looks too clunky to me. I like the other ones, but this looks quite clunky. Even if you have a lot of transforms like them, problem is that, like, then the like double face cards are expensive transform cards. You can't even use the like card advantage necessarily that well. I don't think in blue you need this kind of a clunky card advantage tool. I'm on a D for this. I think I don't think
it costs so much. So it's 5 mana, do nothing. But you might have a white 2/2 flyer, and then you transform it and draw a card, and you might clear battle and then you draw a card. But I'm on a D as well. I mean, so much. It's 5 mana to not affect the board in any way.
I think the support for building around this exists. I don't think this card is great, nor will I take it very highly. C-.
Whew.
Okay, next up, Invasion of Kamigawa. 3 and a blue for a battle. Oh yeah, I need to open this in new tab.
You can still tilt your head.
Yeah. For 4 defense, for a 4 defense battle, whenever it enters the battlefield, tap target artifact or creature and opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. So for 4 mana, and you lock something down, and then it has 4 defense. And then if you get it to flip, it flips into a 2/3 flying, and when it deals combat damage to a player or battle, draw a card. I mean, sure, the like upside is there. You flip into a card that draws you a card. Sure. The problem is, I think, first of all, blue is pretty bad at flipping battles. Second of all, this card is dog shit on defense. Third of all, it's not even that good on offense because you just want to, because you probably just want to kill your opponent. You don't really, I don't think you want a 2/3 flyer that draws you a card. You just like, just hit them face, don't play this kind of lucky card.
Front is really bad.
Yes. Now, fourth, I had something else to say. What was it? Oh yeah. Blue also, I don't think needs card advantage again. This is like really clunky card advantage.
You're gonna need card advantage.
If you get to the backside, I don't think blue wants this. I'm gonna give this a D.
You're gonna need card advantage because you're gonna play a ton of those bounce spells.
No, I don't. I just play a ton of bounce spells and invoke the mines. At least the bounce spells can surveil this away, I guess.
I'm kind of on a D- for this one. I'm gonna go to D because, I mean, if the board is tall enough and you can kind of get in, I mean, it's so bad. Like, you get a small creature, even though it's gonna draw your cards when it finally connects. Like, the reward is not enough. Like, you really need this to flip and you're not getting enough when it flips. And it's... there are gonna be a lot of situations where you just can't flip the battle. So frontside needs to do something, or the backside needs to be back-breaking. Yeah, D. I can see this going to a D-. I think it's really bad, but starting is as a D.
I'm gonna start it up at D-. That's my professional analysis.
Okay. By the way, NCA, for the battles, is there not flipped? If you can like read them like maybe a little bit slowly and clearly, so people don't have to tilt their heads.
I mean, it's fine. I have tilted my head plenty in this set before.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it. That's your job. Tilting the head.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, Invasion of Vryn. It's again a battle. For 3 and a blue, when it enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards, then discard a card. It has 4 defense. And then it transforms into Overloaded Mage Ring. And it's an artifact. It has 1 and a tap, sacrifice, Mage Ring, copy target spell you control. So you can copy anything, and copy a permanent. Basically, you can just copy anything. You can also copy a battle that flips, but that seems weird. I mean, I do like this better than the last card. Like, it's okay on the front. It's still like not the best, and you flip it at least you get to copy something you have. But I'm still not a huge fan of this. I just don't think blue overall is great at attacking battles, and I still am not. I don't think I'm interested still in the front half alone. But it's okay. You get a lot of value from this if you flip it, I guess. And I'm gonna go C- on this, I think.
I'm okay with this, but these blue battles are kind of dog crap.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta clear. Like, okay, you don't have to clear this one because drawing 3 and discarding 1 is fine. But because it's kind of fine, right? Like the front side is fine. I'm okay with this one. Like, even if you don't clear it, you're okay. But there's a better card draw in blue. This could do some crazy things if you, depending on what you copy.
I mean, the value is there. Like, this card is quite good. The good thing about this battle is that the front side isn't bad, and there is a lot of value if you flip this. I'll go to a C. I trust that this is pretty decent.
I'm gonna start as a C+.
Alright, I'm also on a C. I think there's just a lot better ways to accumulate card advantage in blue.
Yeah, I can see it going down.
Next up, Omen Hawker. Blue. For a 1/1. Add colorless and blue. Spend this mana only to activate abilities. Okay, this card I've seen plenty of already and I thought about it. But I like this card, I think, a lot. First of all, blue really, again, needs cheap creatures. Even a 1/1 is okay. It's a cheap creature, it helps you cast your Convoke, it does block some stuff. But you kind of accrue, like, early board presence with the ability as well. Imagine the common 3-drop that incubates 3 and draws a card. You can just straight up transform the incubate token. This is really nice with incubate tokens, like really nice. But
really
it's also pretty good with like transform cards and stuff. But like the more incubate I have mainly, the better this becomes. Like you do need to do some work to make this good, I guess. But I think it's gonna be good in almost any blue deck, and then it's gonna be really good in some blue decks. And for that reason, I think I'm gonna start as a B-.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was gonna be way higher. I want a B- as well. B-. I'm a big believer in this card. Like, it's gonna be better than a B- in some decks for sure. I really like this one, and I don't have anything to add really.
Yeah, I think this is like a higher variance Llanowar Elves, right? For me, like there's gonna be some starts that you have in blue that are gonna feel absolutely busted when you start off with this in one. Drawing this in the late game is, you know, garbage. And some decks are actually just not interested in that.
Like the blue, in blue, the thing is that I think you're kind of fine drawing weird, like creatures that are just like good on 1, good on 2 type deals later on, because I think you'll have.
You can also play this in Convoke.
Like a decent amount of cards or things to spend your mana on, and I don't think you're gonna be that sad drawing Omen Hawker on like turn 6 or something.
This is also kind of free, even later on, if you have a Convoke card.
Doesn't really do it for me.
Yeah.
Well, what do you give it, Scotty?
It's fine. It's a C+.
It's like even in later, like if you have Convoke, it's obviously it's crazy early with some starts, but even if you have it late, like it's gonna be like 0 mana a lot of times.
Yeah. Next up, Oracle of Tragedy. 1 blue for a 1/3. When it enters the battlefield or dies, choose one. Draw a card, then discard a card. Shuffle up to 4 target cards with mana value 3 or greater from your graveyard into your library. So basically the only text on this that matters is the fact that you loot when it ETBs or dies. I mean, Engraver was pretty good, and this is like, not really Engraver. It's like kind of close, but the problem is that you have to loot when this ETBs, and looting and rummaging both do go up when the game goes on. You don't generally care that much about card selection early on, and then it's like, I guess it will die at some point and you can loot, but it's a 2 mana 1/3. I think this is significantly worse than Engraver.
You mean from Midnight Hunt?
No, from the last set.
It was Engraver though, remind me.
Axiom Engraver is the oil red rummager.
Yeah, this is way worse.
That's like it kind of reads similarly, but I do think it is a lot worse. It is like looting doesn't really, it's not really like that important on turn 2. You also can do this whenever you want. You don't have oil synergies here. Yeah, I think there is a lot of things just.
Yeah, it's way worse. So what do you give it?
Yeah, gonna use this. I still like it in my blue decks. I like 2 mana 1/3 and loot isn't that bad. There's some additional upside beyond that, but I just wanted to drop. I'll give it a C-.
Nothing more to add. I give it a C- as well.
I'm a little bit lower. I don't really love the body. I guess what might make it a C- for me is like how important it is to just get on the board early to start convoking stuff. And actually, as that's coming out of my mouth, that's pretty convincing. So C- for me as well.
Skyclave Aerialist. 1 and a blue for a 2/1 with flying. Nice. You can pay 4 and a Phyrex in green to transform it, and it transforms into a 2/4 flying. And when it transforms, look at top card of your library. If it's land card, you may put it onto the battlefield. If you don't put the card on the battlefield, you can put it into your hand. I mean, most of this is just a 2-mana 2/1 flyer. The transform side I don't think is anything particularly exciting. Like, sure, if I want to draw a card at some point, but you're not really upgrading the creature that much. Like, the transform doesn't add that much to this card for me. That said, similar thing, I think I would generally give this a C+, because it's mainly a 2/1 flyer with some upside. But I do think I'm gonna give it a B- here again. It kind of gets a boost because I do think blue needs it.
What is, it gets a boost?
Yes.
What do you say later after that? No, it gets a boost because?
Because again, the same thing as like common she drop, whatever.
Yeah.
Blue,
yeah, I'm easy B-. Like, this is no joke when it transforms. Like a 2/4 flyer, and you draw a card. That's really nice. This is really good. Yeah, B- easy. Maybe even higher, but let's start as a B-.
Starting with a B-.
Wicked Slumber. 3 and a blue for an instant with Convoke. Tap up to 2 target creatures, put a stun counter on either of them, then put a stun counter on either of them. So you can lock something down for like 2 turns. You tap it and then lock it down for 2 turns, or you can lock them both down for a turn, tap both of them. And you tap both of them anyway, but you can either lock something for a longer period of time or both for a turn. I mean, if you are like an aggressive version of blue-white, I think there's gonna be 2 versions of blue-white as well. One that is more heavy on the white side and is more aggressive, and one that is more heavy on the blue side and is not as aggressive. I still think it's like, it has some aggressive elements, but it's more like a tempo mid-range deck, kinda. I like this if you are doing aggressive stuffs in blue, like especially with white, because you have vigilance. Then I like this a decent amount, but I also don't love it if you're not doing that. I think it's okay, but nothing to write home about. Instant is really nice, because then you effectively stop 2 attacks if you tap both of them, or 3 from one creature and 1 from something else. I'm gonna start this as a C-, I think.
I think this is amazing.
I'll go to C.
Like, you tap on their turn, like Convoke, so it's not 4 mana. You tap creatures for that turn and another turn, and one of them for even another turn. That's a lot of time. If you're slow card draw, that's a lot of time. If you're faster or mid-rangey, that's it. You can kill them. Sure, the blue battles are kinda whatever, but there are multicolored blue battles that are fine, and you're gonna pair blue with something else, you're gonna get better battles as well. So it doesn't, even if battles don't exist, but you can also just very easily clear battles, make opponents not clear them, get it snowball. I'm gonna like at least B- for this. This card is crazy powerful.
I think the Convoke is a big deal
Yeah.
on this to actually make it have some value in even in a slower defensive deck. I'm still not in love with it and putting it in my more grindier versions of the deck, but I do think this is a very powerful effect. C+ for me.
I thought NC is gonna be the highest on this one.
Yeah, I'll move to a C+, I guess, with you.
I can see it going higher than a B- for sure.
Yeah, maybe. Xerex Strobe-Knight. 2 and a blue for a 2/2 flying vigilance. Tap, create a 2/2 white and blue knight creature token with vigilance. Activate only if you cast 2 or more spells this turn. Yep, that's nice. You do get a win rate with vigilance, which ain't great, but it's not that bad on the front. It's just like pretty bad. but the ability has really high upside, and this kind of plays well into Convoke and well with Convoke. Like, it really wants you to do some Convoking, which kind of, it's easy to double spell with Convoke, etc. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be that hard to double spell in blue, not necessarily on turn 4 or something. Like, it's kind of hard to have two drops in blue. The one problem I could say is that it's kind of that you want to hold up a lot of instants, and then if you cast a creature and hold up an instant, you don't really want to cast it on your turn.
I'm okay casting with my turn with this.
Yeah, me too, but it's like, it's still a little bit weird, you know. Yep, I like this card. This card seems very good, but it is a little bit slow and does get some time to like start accruing the choo-choos and stuff. But your opponent kind of has to respect this to some degree at least. I'm gonna C+ for this, I think.
I'm a big believer. I'm on a B-. I think it could even go higher, like depending on the deck. Big believer. Like drawing cards works with Convoke if you're not making, like you're still attacking with Flyer. That's like easy vigilance to survive for your instant speed Convoke, even if you're not making a 2/2. Works with card draw. Works with like the other thing you're making, it's gonna work with more Convoke. It's gonna be easier to do it again. I like this a lot. Like, but I can see this being a B, but let's start as a B- because on its base it is a flying 2/2 vigilance.
Okay, I'm also on a B-. I think we should at least verbally note that when you complete a battle, you do cast it. So you can like cast a spell, use that spell to clear the way, then kill a battle, and then actually still activate this.
Oh, battles get cast? Battle gets cast?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry, Scott. I'm really sorry.
No. Yeah, this card's great.
B. I'm on a B.
B for battles.
B for battles. B for sagas. And yeah, this is battles get cast. Yeah, I forgot about that. I know that it get cast, but I didn't really get into equation for this card. Extra. Oh, that's it for the blue uncommons, and we are onto the blue rares and mythics. You're not gonna see a lot of them, so don't base your picks around getting one of these.
Shall we go for Chrome Host Seedshark? Did I disconnect?
What do you say,
No.
shall we?
Yeah, shall we go for Chrome Host Seedshark?
Yeah.
We going? Okay. Chrome Host Seedshark, 2 blue, 3 mana total for a creature, Phyrexian Shark. Has flying, it's a 2/4. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, incubate X, where X is that spell's mana value. Very cheap to come down, very good at blocking, pretty stinking good at attacking. And when you cast sort of anything after that, just compounds your board. This card is very strong. I'm
No, continue. Finish this.
No, I'm just a huge fan, pretty much on all fronts. B+.
Okay, I'm just wanted to say, I think the blue could be okay on its own even. I just sent you guys a picture in Discord. I just drafted a mono blue deck with other people, and it looks pretty nice. I definitely didn't do it during the set review when I was reading the uncommons. No, I would never. Yeah, Lola, go ahead. You go with this.
No, you're the next one after Scotty.
Yeah, true. I agree with everything Scott said. I listened very carefully. I'll give this a B+.
B+ as well? All across the board, this card is crazy powerful. Could go to A- for sure.
Complete the circuit. 5 blue, 6 mana total for an instant with Convoke. You may cast sorcery spells this turn as though they had flash. When you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell twice. You may choose new copies for the targets. It's pretty bizarre. It's a pretty strange, bizarre card. I think you have to jump through a reasonable amount of hoops. First of all, you have to have the creatures to convoke something. You have to have enough creatures to convoke something where you can double spell with it. And it's not
good.
It's kind of an issue because some of the spells you want to be convoking also have convoke, and you can't convoke twice off the same creatures. You know, that's like an like convoke technically has diminishing returns because you can't use the same resources for them both in the same turn. But it's pretty powerful for certain effects. If you draw cards off this, that's reasonable. What you really want to be doing is affecting the battlefield.
Yeah.
If you cast a removal spell, you remove 3 things, or you can remove 3 things. Overall, that's a lot of what ifs for a reasonable payoff, but it's a little bit too many hoops for my taste to jump through. I don't love this card. This is a D for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think there is a chance you can build a deck where this is pretty good, but it's gonna require a lot, like you said. I'm optimistic. I'll give this a D+, but I think it's gonna go down.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a D-. Too many hoops to jump through. Way too many. It's gonna feel crazy powerful sometimes. When you see it, it's usually gonna feel crazy powerful. When you don't, this is gonna be one of the reasons why you're winning that game, because opponent has it in their hand. Now, just one thing to note about the Shark Boy. Convoke spells are still gonna be heavily costed, right? So that's pretty damn huge. That's pretty damn huge. Anyways, like D- for this one. Bye bye. Hey!
Faerie Mastermind, 1 blue, 2 mana for a creature Fairy Rogue. It's a 2/1, flash flying. Whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, you draw a card. You can pay 3 and a blue, 4 mana, and each player draws a card. This is Yuta Takahashi's World Championship card.
Are we reading flavor text now?
Yeah, I always read flavor text every time. But this is just really strong, like as a 2 mana 2/1 that can start clocking, clearing battles. The opponent drawing their second card each turn will be annoying. I think it'll be surprising how many cards like Rummage draw cards straight up or just have a cantrip that your opponent will just then have a much tougher time casting on their turn, specifically because then you're just gonna get a draw off this. Even in the late game, both players drawing a card, you essentially drawing 2 cards because you're going to activate on their turn. It's just great value. This card is super strong. I think this is a B for me.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad. I was doing something else. I wasn't drafting this time around. I promise. It was just reading some messages.
Okay.
I agree. This is great. 2 mana 2 flash flyer. Yeah. And then you get some nice additional upside with this. It single-handedly gives you a big amount of card advantage. Yeah, I'll give this a B.
I'm kind of B, yeah. It's nice to drop, but like it works when an opponent tries to draw cards as well. So, and it's gonna like 4 mana draw card basically. Why not? 4 mana draw 2, opponent draws 1. So it's not 4 mana draw 2. It's kind of like 4 mana draw 1. Even though it would be, I think, better if it was 4 mana draw 1. Because then it's always just you. And you are spending that 4 mana, so I don't know, you're not going to be able to play those 2 cards that fast. But yeah, amazing card. Just amazing card.
Invasion of Arcavios. 3 blue. 5 mana total for a battle siege. When Invasion of Arcavios enters the battlefield, search your library, graveyard, and or outside the game for an instant or sorcery card you own. Reveal it, put into your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle. It flips into Invocation of the Founders, which is an enchantment. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, you may choose new copies for that spell. You may copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. So, forks everything when it flips, but this has 7. Sorry, I didn't mention this has 7 defense counters. Yeah, so we weren't into 3 mana tutor. How do y'all feel about 5 mana tutor?
This also has
how do you like that?
This also has way more defense than the 3 mana tutor.
It's 7 defense.
Woo!
Jesus.
I love this card. This is great. I love cards that also search from outside the game, and that, like, you know, you have treasure tokens or something, and you can play like your off whatever green naturalize that you drafted like 15th pick. Yeah, this is an F.
Yeah, this is an F that I will surely play at least once.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it, but an F. Don't play it. It's never good, I think, for the deck. 7. What the fuck is up there? 7. Oh my god.
I also like how like 7 means that you have to have enough creatures to like threaten this, and then you also have to have enough spells you want to fork.
It's not like enough creatures. You gotta have like, I don't know what kind of crazy board you have to pay 5 mana to do nothing, to draw 1 card of your choice, I guess. And then like, wow, what is that card gonna be that you get? Oh my god.
Invasion of Segovia, the best plane, which is 2 blue, 3 mana, which is Battle Siege. It has 4 defense counters. When Invasion of Segovia enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 blue Kraken creature tokens with trample. This flips into Catus, Sea Tyrant of Segovia, which is a legendary creature serpent. It's a 3/3. Non-creature spells you have Convoke, and at the beginning of your end step, untap up to 4 target creatures. Just a quick aside, if anyone isn't familiar with Segovia, Segovia is like the really tiny miniature plane, so everything is super tiny. I forgot what Modern Masters it was from, but there was like a Segovian Angel, which is like a 1/1 flying vigilance. So everything on the plane is like super puny. It's a great plane. It's the best plane.
Yeah,
anyway.
Sounds great. I would fit right into there.
Oh, that's too bad.
So 2 1/1s for 3 mana is fine. It's like okay, I guess. Like normally the rate is like for 2 mana. I'm not particularly excited. The trample is mostly flavor text. It's very funny flavor text, and I love it. But it's pretty much flavor text for the 1/1 blue trample tokens. The backside is fine. Everything about this card is fine, and I think it all adds up to be a perfectly acceptable card to put in your deck and be reasonably happy about it. I'm not like super excited about. Actually, well, the Convoke clause on Catus is probably better than I think it is.
Yeah, like you use it on your turn and then use it on their turn.
Yeah. Actually, the more that I look at the backside, Catus is actually pretty stinking powerful in terms of making combat really tough and also being able to churn through your deck and be able to like multi-spell on each turn. So I'm actually super into it. This is like a B- for me.
Yeah, to be clear, this is for chat mainly. I wasn't talking about my penis size. I was talking about like 165 centimeters. Yeah, I like this a lot. You make 2 1/1s work well with Convoke. And you flip into a pretty good creature. It only has 4 defense, but it's like even the front side is already I think worth 3 mana. Also the trample 1/1s does matter with the 2 mana combat trick in blue that draws a card. But like 3 mana makes 2 1/1s is already like pretty good in blue decks I think. And then you get a nice thing when you flip this. I think I'm gonna go B+.
B+?
Yes.
Okay, so you kind of gotta flip this. Because 3 mana 2 1/1s is bad. So you gotta flip this. You don't get anything super crazy when you flip it unless you have support in your hand. So there are some nice things, like you can play battles and obviously non-convoke spells, but non-creature maybe removal in other color, whatever. Like it's not like every color has a lot of convoke. Blue, white, basically Jeskai. Blue, white, red has convoke. Nothing else has convoke if I'm correct. Maybe I'm wrong. Am I correct with that, guys? That common and uncommon, nothing else has convoke.
Nothing but
Jeskai. Okay, so you gotta flip it, but you're not getting much from the front side. And on the back side, like you get a 3/3, but 3/3 is not that big, so it does need extra support. I'm gonna start it as like a B-, but it does go up in certain decks. When, like even when you have a lot of convoke, I think spells, it's nice because you just convoke on your turn and then you can still have open mana and open creatures on their turn. But you kind of need to have all of that for this to be really good. I'm not really happy with clearing a 4 toughness battle and getting a 3/3. So that's why I started as a B-. I can see it going down, but I can see it definitely goes up in some decks. But I can see it like on average maybe moving this to a C+ or C.
So there's the black removal spell at uncommon is Collective Nightmare. It has Convoke. That's -3/-3.
And Stoked Flames in red.
Well, that's Jeskai.
Oh, so red is just one card? That one removal spell?
Collective Nightmare in black?
Sorry, red is just one removal spell?
Oh.
No, red has a common removal spell as well.
Okay.
With Convoke.
Oh, but you're also, Lola, you're also a huge fool and you're forgetting about Halo Hopper.
Oh!
Yes. You fool.
Oh, you can just cast your Hela Hopper and block with everything. Jesus. I mean, but let's be realistic. How many Hela Hoppers are gonna be best to you?
That's true, none.
None, because I take them.
You can maximum have 3 in your deck, right? And that's if you're very lucky.
A maximum if you open it, pack one, pick one, or pack one every time. Yeah,
true.
Scotty?
Sorry, I was busy looking up Halo Hopper and I navigated away from the page. Jin-Gitaxias. 3 blue, 5 mana for a legendary creature, Phyrexian Praetor. It's a 5/5 with Ward 2. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell with mana value 3 or greater, draw a card. 3 blue, exile Jin-Gitaxias, then return it to the battlefield, transform under its owner's control, activate only as a sorcery, and only if you have 7 or more cards in hand. It flips into the Great Synthesis, which is a saga. Draw cards equal to the number of cards in your hand. You have no maximum hand size for as long as you control the Great Synthesis. 2, return all non-Phyrexian creatures to their owner's hand. 3, you may cast any number of spells from your hand without paying their mana costs. Exile the Great Synthesis, then return it to the battlefield. I like how he spent like 20 seconds reading nothing because it's never going to flip.
Yeah.
So as a 5 mana 5/5 with Ward 2, that when you cast some of your non-creature spells, you draw a card. As we noted before, some of the spells are more expensive in the set because they have Convoke stacks slapped onto them, so that's fine. This card is okay. 5 mana 5/5 with Ward 2, reasonable blocker, and then can sometimes draw you a couple extra cards. That's fine. I'm not incredibly excited about it, mostly because I'm not, diving for a 5-drop that doesn't exactly win me the game. So this is like a C for me.
Yeah, I was gonna go C as well. I agree with everything you said. It's an okay 5-drop. What makes it a good 5-drop is the fact that you get some card advantage with some of your cards, but still it's not like you'll have that many and do you need the card advantage? Maybe, but it's still like, it's a 5-mana card, doesn't stabilize you really. At least your opponent has to probably spend almost their whole mana to deal with this if they want to deal with it. But yeah, I'm gonna go C as well. I could see C+ though for sure.
This just doesn't have a backside, so
yeah,
it's just funny how it's still so much text. I really like the front side. I mean, the 5/5 Ward 2 is fine, but this text is no joke. A lot of my cards are gonna be 2, are gonna be 3 or greater. It's a non-creature spell only. Fuck off. But okay, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I think it's a C+. I still like it a lot. Goes up in some decks for sure.
Rona, Herald of Invasion. 1 blue for legendary creature, human wizard. It's a 1/3. Whenever you cast a legendary spell, untapped Rona, Herald of Invasion. You can tap to draw a card, then discard a card. You can pay 5 and a Phyrexian black. To transform Rona, activate only as a sorcery. Transforms into Rona, Talarian Obliterator. Legendary creature, Phyrexian Wizard, which is a 5/5 with Trample. Whenever a source deals damage to Rona, Talarian Obliterator, that source's controller exiles a card from their hand at random. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield under your control. Otherwise, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. So essentially, you nab a card from their hand and get to cast it.
For free.
Front side is reasonable. This is a 1/3, which actually blocks reasonably well on turn 2. You can convoke with this. You can loot. I'm actually a huge fan of the looting ability. This is one of the better looters that we've seen in quite some time, in my opinion. Legendary spells usually doesn't come up that much. However, there's one legendary minimum in every pack thanks to the Multiversal Legends bonus sheet. So, if you can even probably double loot in reasonable amount of the time.
Okay.
Well, that's the wrong word. You can double loot sometimes. But this card is really good. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this. And then eventually your looter, which also helped you bridge the gap from the early game to the late game, will eventually become an actual very, very good card. This is very strong to me. This is a B+.
Yeah. I agree. 2-mana looter is already pretty nice. Free loot. Nothing wrong with that. And then you transform into a really good creature late game. Just be fine blocking with this thing, don't be too scared to lose it and etc. and so on. Yeah, I'm on a B+ as well, I think.
I want a B+ as well. I would really like this without the backside, but backside is really good. Backside is really good.
It's like a 2-drop looter, really good early and pretty fucking good late still.
Really good early, really good late. Sometimes you're gonna be like, okay, you're gonna not even transform it, just so you can loot more. Like
Yeah, and just so that it does have it can get blown out pretty bad if you transform, you know. So it's like kind of fine. Then you're like, okay, I guess I won't transform yet. I'll just do something else with my mana. You're already looting. You probably have places where you can put your mana if you want to. Like honestly, I don't even think threatening the transform is really nice, and you'll transform this some amount of time. But I don't think some of the time you just don't transform this because already by looting you will have things to spend mana on, and as long as your looter is alive, you will have kind of the late game advantage.
Yeah.
With that.
Yeah, they're just really good.
Sea Double, 2 blue, 4 mana total for an instant. This spell can't be copied. Choose one. If an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, you may choose both. You copy a target spell, or you create a token that's a copy of target creature. Flash Clone. This is a flash clone, because it can also target your opponent's creatures. Very strong. This is how I mostly see this card. I think 95% of the time you're just going to be making one clone, and then if you're in the late game, you can wait until your opponent casts anything, even a creature, and then you can sort of get a copy of that and also get a clone, which is super duper stinking strong. Biggest downside here is a little bit tougher to cast, but this is a B for me. It's a good card.
Yeah, I don't love even a flash clone personally. I think it's okay. Clones have kind of fallen out of favor in recent years, even if they can copy anything. The top part of this card kind of mostly does nothing. I don't mean that yeah, sure, if you have a bunch of, or if your opponent has a bunch of cards in their graveyard, yes, you can choose both, but you're probably almost never choosing to copy targets, but because it's for mana and you still have to cast something else. I guess it's nice to don't the card, but
you can copy their spell.
Oh yeah, that is true. Good point. I definitely saw that. Yeah, good point, Ola. Yeah. And lol, Scotty probably pointed out, but I just didn't listen. Yeah, that is pretty nice. The flexibility on this card is pretty nice. I'm still not jazzed about even an instant speed clone. I'm gonna C+ for this.
I got a question before Lola talks. You said that clones have fallen out of favor. Why have they fallen out of favor?
It's just that it's the best thing you can do is to copy the best thing. It's you can never, especially on the play where you kind of want to push your advantage. I do think they are very awkward because you can't, you kind of want to be the one playing the bigger thing, playing the better thing. You kind of live in your opponent has a lot of control on how good this card is, and.
But you copy your best thing.
Let's say even in blue, there isn't really that much good things to copy. You're cloning something, okay, I guess. I think clones just aren't. Maybe they have never been that good. I actually don't know, but I have never thought that they are that great. Instant speed does change stuff because you can basically eat anything that's not their biggest thing with instant speed. But I have never loved clones overall. But it is instant, and it has some additional upside over it.
I heard they are changing the tokens rules for tokens of double face cards so they can transform now. Okay, I need a confirmation on that because that doesn't feel like a real thing.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, that is a real thing.
Wow, that's so interesting. I like it a lot. Okay, that's great. That's great. When is that happening?
Next step.
March of Machines?
I also like how you're asking for confirmation and then 3 or 4 people said so, and then that's apparently confirmation for you.
Yeah, it is. You said it so fast. So
and Lola also knows that he honestly has no idea. If multiple people say it's true, it's probably true.
It's when you say that fast, I'm convinced. You have a good charisma, guys. Yeah, I like this. It's nice. Got a best creature. I mean, I don't think this. So it's on the floor is fine, but I think this copy target spell is pretty fucking huge. If at one point if that happens, right, and there comes a point in time where opponent has 8 cards or more cards in their graveyard, and then like it's stupidly powerful. But that has to happen because opponent is gonna cast a spell. Doesn't matter which one it is. If it's a permanent, you get a permanent. You don't have to play like a lot of things. You can copy something that you play, sure, but you don't have to do that. That is great. I'm gonna be minus though, because I think most of the time it's just gonna be copy target creature. But you can copy the removal spell, I guess. It's not the end of the world, but instant speed copy I think is pretty good. The upside is definitely there. Like I think it's no small thing that this can be really good 2-for-1. Next.
Transcendent Message. X, blue, 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 blue. For an instant with Convoke, and you draw X cards.
Yeah.
I would rather have a Meeting of the Minds. By a lot, actually. This card is very expensive. I understand in the late game, sure, you can like tap your whole board end of turn and like, I don't know, like draw 4 cards. I'm not into this. I don't think this card is particularly great. I think this is a D- for me. It's just very, very expensive.
Yeah, this is... At least even it Convoke the Minds, if you are in a rough spot, you have traded away your creatures because you had to, you can at least at instant speed draw you for 4. Now, by this you can at instant speed, for quad blue, draw 0. Yeah, there is just a good common control spell, like Scott said. It's like, I know I want this. Even if you don't have any of them, this is just too clunky. Like this, the fail case on this card is really bad, and like you need to tap a lot of stuff before this becomes great. Like if it's X plus 2, that's okay.
How is that okay?
It's like barely okay. Was where I was like gonna go to. It's like still.
No, I think it's very fine. Elemental.
Yeah, sure.
No, I think it's very nice if it's X plus 2.
Yeah, actually in the MU there was that card. It was okay. Yeah, maybe this card is okay. The problem is that it's actually does nothing if you don't have creatures, like literally nothing. I'm on a D+.
I think it's horrible. I think this card is a D-, and that's a gift, because I guess it's not unplayable, but I don't see why any blue deck needs this one. And like
I can definitely see myself playing this. Not that it's good, but
sure, go ahead. No, it's not even fun. That's the thing. It's just drawing cards.
It is kind of fun.
Yeah, draw 2 cards. For what? If you convoke, oh my god. I mean, so what? Let's say you have 4 creatures, and
what if you have 7 creatures? Now you can draw 3 for free.
Let's say we have 4 creatures. You gotta pay 4 to draw 4. I mean, I can give it a D actually. I mean, it's pretty bad. It's really bad, but
I think if you like are for some reason are going really wide and don't have like the common card draw spell, and you just like want a card draw spell, I think you can play this.
if you don't get enough card draw, I guess. I don't know how, but
yeah.
What do you give it, Scotty?
I gave it a D-. I think this card is poop.
It's really bad.
Zephyr, I don't know. Zephyr Singer.
Zephyr.
2 blue for a creature, Siren Pirate. It's a 3/4 with Convoke, Vigilance, and Flying. When Zephyr Singer enters the battlefield, put a flying counter on each creature that convoked it. This is a messed up magic card.
What the hell is this?
I don't understand.
What is this?
I don't understand the numbers on this.
Look,
this is a 4-mana Convoker that is a 3/4 flying.
Like
yeah,
4
Vigilance?
mana?
Where did the Vigilance come from?
Flying Vigilance for 4 with Convoke. I mean, surely that's just pretty bad. So let's give it. Let's give everything else flying, because why not?
I mean,
now
wait.
it may be decent.
4 mana 3/4 vigilance without convoke is great.
Yeah.
I have a really tough time giving A range grades to like cards that don't. I mean, whatever. This card actually takes over the game. If you have this is an A- for me.
Yeah, there's like you could erase anything from this card and it would still be good. Like you could take out
really good.
Yeah, you could take flying and vigilance out, really good. You could even take flying, vigilance, and the last line of text out, and it would still be okay. Like you could erase literally almost the entire text box, and it would still be okay.
You just leave flying, and it's pretty damn good. If you leave just vigilance, then it's not very good.
I'm on an A or even an A plus. This is just wild.
I'm gonna give it an A.
Yeah, I'm on an A as well because it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm on an A. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go for an A. This card's messed up.
It's messed up. Like, let's say everything you have already flies. Who cares? The last line of text is broken, but you don't need to give everything flying. You don't need to. Like, this is a lot of tempo you're getting by getting a 3/4 flying vigilance creature. Like, let's say you, I don't know, it's turn 5, whatever. You're playing some things and you pay 1 mana for this and tap 3 of your creatures. Now, even if all of them already had flying, which is not gonna be the case probably, unless you played one of these already, but even if they had flying, like, that's a lot of tempo. Even if you lost an attack, even if you didn't, even if your creature didn't have vigilance, didn't attack, that's fine. This is fuckity uppity. You know how we say it.
Do you say that normally?
You know how we say
Is that
it
a
here.
thing you say?
That's how we say
what
it.
What did you say again? I want to hear it again.
That's how we say it. It's fuckity uppity.
Have you ever said that before? Okay.
I've never
People who've been
heard
on
that.
Lola's stream a bunch. Does he say that often?
That's my catchphrase. It's
That's
below
your-
my logo,
That's your
but
catchphrase?
it's below my logo when it's like full picture.
I've never heard that out of Lola's mouth or anyone else's.
That's great. Amazing. Well, all right. That's a good catchphrase. I like that. Is Ixalan the set after this?
What?